Okay, there is that. Get that sent out to folks. John, FYI, I did include some of Iowa as well.
Gotcha.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. We're going to let a few more folks file in, then we'll get into the latest.
Matt, I think for Indiana, the sunshine that we've gotten over the past 3 to 4 hours has really been the key today in getting some of these storms going, especially over the past 30 minutes.
Yep, they are. They're intensifying, no doubt. Not seeing really any rotation in the storms in Indiana right now. So looks just kind of like some wind gust and some hail into Indiana. Okay, great to see you. We'll give it about 30 more seconds, and we'll kind of get into some live analysis for the folks. Everybody, I hope you're doing well. Would really appreciate like, comment, share, tell people you're watching. Maybe even on social media, send us a picture if you're watching on like your TV in your living room or something. We always appreciate seeing those as well. We are having, you can see the QR code in the top right-hand corner, our Clarity application, which we're looking at right now. We do have a 20% off right now. Use the code STORM20 and you can get 20% off Clarity Home if you're interested in checking out our app. And again, I've said this in other live streams, we're much more than just these live streams. So much more.
Our team's been working on nowcasts, insights, forecast reels, forecast videos, not only today, but several days before these severe events have been in the picture. So a lot of benefit to keep your family, to keep your business. Weather impacts us all. So Clarity is a great way of making sure that you have all of the information in a timely fashion.
Yep. So let's get into kind of the meat and potatoes, and then obviously I know there's a lot of you around Central Indiana, so we'll take a look at Central Indiana first. But there's two focal points, really three, of severe concern at this moment in time. The first area of concern that we're dealing with is here into Central Indiana. Right now, the primary risk with some of these storms as they do move east is going to be that of the strong wind gusts and large hail. And you can see we do have two severe warnings, and we'll discuss those in just a moment. John, unless you're seeing something different, I don't see any rotation in these storms. The tornado threat is not zero, or the tornado threat isn't zero. There is a tornado threat with some of these storms, but it's not going to be as robust of a tornado threat as what we're seeing with storms getting into Iowa, into southern Wisconsin, with some of these storms ongoing now, where there's a little bit more spin in the atmosphere, there's a little bit more ingredients to work with in some of those areas. And I think the tornadic threat is a little bit elevated. In addition to very large hail, John, you can see some hailstones up there of 3+ inches for the diameter of hail. So all modes of severe weather in play up there. Again, tornado threats, non-zero, but I think especially the wind gusts and the hail with some of these storms working their way into Central Indiana. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this, and I'll try to get into some questions as we go along. Again, there is no tornado warning. John, are you seeing any rotation in these storms in Central Indiana?
Nope, no rotation, just getting some small hail reports, and I would imagine we're going to start seeing gusts of 40 to at least 50 based on current radar. So no disagreements on those severe thunderstorm warnings for 60, but these storms are still maturing, Matt. They've got a bit of time to keep progressing east and intensifying.
Yep. So these storms have intensified over, John, I'd say over the last hour. So our team's been getting about 50 miles per hour. I think we can use that as a base for a storm timer for some of these storms. So I'm going to first time out these storms moving towards approaching the Indianapolis area. There's probably going to be at least a special weather statement or even a severe warning for Indianapolis, I would envision here rather shortly. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring out our storm track tool on the Clarity application. And we'll use 50 miles per hour. And let's go ahead and let's start drawing this out. So again, using 50 miles per hour as a base, let's bring it out towards just beyond the Indiana-Ohio border. And now we've got some timing for some folks with this particular group of storms. So you can see we get to about smack dab downtown Indy about 5:36 p.m. These are all times in Eastern time. Let me zoom out a little bit for some of us so you can get an idea for where some of these storms are tracking. Newcastle around 6:24 p.m. I saw someone reach out about that. Muncie 6:09 p.m. Eastern. Noblesville 5:32. Cloverdale here soon 5:04. Bloomington coverage is going to be a little bit more sparse down there, but 5:46. And especially with what we see on the radar right now, in particular, it's this area kind of right into here, north of this red line I just drew out. The primary risk, again, I would say wind gusts of 40 up to 60 miles per hour and some large hail. I think probably 1-inch hail. We may get some isolated instances, John, maybe near 2 inches. I wouldn't completely rule out, just given some of the ingredients out ahead. Again, right now, I do not see any rotation. There is a threat that some of these can pick up rotation. We'll be watching that closely, but right now, not seeing that at this moment in time. But I do think these storms pack a punch, probably going to have some robust lightning in them, a brief heavy downpour as well. So kind of all of it, I think we'll be dealing with these particular storms.
I agree, Matt. And one thing I'm also seeing too is we have plenty of lightning within these storms. So if you have any outdoor activities going on, you have any plans within these timeframes, make sure to, in addition to the severe risks, be prepared that you'll likely need to shelter in place or be indoors as these storms pass. But Matt, from a meteorological standpoint, the lightning also tells me that the environment is very good out ahead as these storms push to the east. So I would continue to favor whether that's a strong storm statement or a severe thunderstorm warning, those continuing to be issued as these storms push to the east.
Yeah, I want to address a question real quick. Someone saying plenty of weather apps saying no rain in Muncie. Is it going to pass right by? I mean, it looks like it's head right towards Muncie, this northern edge of the storm. I think these may have a tendency, John, to veer up a little bit to the north and to the east with time. So Get says you do get the northern section of these storms in particular. So will Indianapolis get it? Yeah, I think so. Pretty good coverage. You can see there's a severe thunderstorm warning just northwest of Greencastle, 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That would probably be generally the theme. We do have something called a special weather statement. The National Weather Service will put this out on sub-severe storms. I actually just got severe warned. Here we go. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So again, the wind gust threat and the hail threat is going to be the overwhelming main primary severe concern here into Indiana as this does move east. And again, here are some timings for folks with this particular area of the storms. Again, we've got it moving about 50 miles per hour. Okay. Let's shift gears up a little bit further up to the north. And so let's talk about this. Anderson, again, same deal. Wind gusts, hail, the primary concern. We'll be watching closely because there is a threat. Some of these storms can pick up rotation, but you can see 553 for Anderson, Indiana. Wind gusts and hail would be the primary threat with these. Now let's shift gears up a little bit to northern Indiana. We do have a group of storms ongoing in these particular areas as well. These are, John, looks like generally moving off to the east, northeast, I would say, as a general rule of thumb. I think the team's been getting about 50 miles per hour for these particular storms as well. John, correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Nope, that's what we've got. And Matt, these have getting some indications on velocity of some 50 to maybe even 55 mile per hour gusts as well. So if there's storms right now that have the greater potential for damaging winds in addition to hail, I think it would likely be these as they approach Fort Wayne.
Okay. So John, here's kind of the general track. I'm getting these moving 50 miles per hour. Let's bring it into Ohio, give folks an idea of timing with these particular storms. Again, all these times in Eastern, you can see Wabash about 5:25 p.m. Eastern, Huntington about 5:45 p.m. Eastern. Getting near Fort Wayne, let me zoom in just a little bit, 6:11 p.m. Eastern, downtown Fort Wayne. Decatur, 6:27 p.m. Eastern time. So here's some general timing of these particular storms. And I don't think it's impossible. We'll need to watch if the storms can fill in between these two particular areas of storms that we're dealing with right now, but this is the general timing. Again, I don't see any rotation concerns in these storms right now. So wind gusts and hail, I would say the threat, wind gusts up to 60, wind gusts or hail to near an inch. I wouldn't be shocked to see some large hail up to 2 inches, John, just given the environment. I think that risk can start to decrease maybe a little bit for the large hail of that magnitude as we get into Ohio, as we lose just a little bit of the juice. And there's a severe thunderstorm watch that just got issued by the folks over at the National Weather Service. In fact, let me get rid of this discussion.
And their storm watch, Matt, includes large hail likely with isolated very large hail events to 3 inches in diameter, scattered damaging gusts to 70 miles per hour, and a tornado or two being possible.
We'll see. We'll see about the 70 miles per hour. We'll need probably some Boeing segments to start to get going. So as we start to see these, obviously, we'll point them out as we see them. But again, the wind gusts and the hail threat looks to be the primary concern with some of these storms. And again, I've got some timing up for us to get a general sense of the timing. So what day is this? This is Tuesday. This is what's happening right now. It's today. Okay. Let's pivot real quick. And I don't want to completely ignore some of these storms into Iowa real quickly for some of us. There had been a tornado warned storm here in Waterloo, but certainly concerned about some of these storms near Waterloo and then approaching Madison that have a little bit better potential versus folks into Indiana to have that rotation. And I would say even some very large hail going to be possible with some of these storms as well, John. Really, you can see where the main kind of focus is over the next, 2 to 3 hours, John. Let me know if you agree or disagree, but I would say this general particular area right in this highlighted zone in red, that's just where the best coverage is. That's where the data is really confident about scattered storms continuing to shift east with time in these particular areas. So if you're in this particular area in the near short term, be very weather aware because I think these storms can be just absolutely nasty. The wind gusts, the hail, and the tornadoes. John, do you see any rotation in these storms? I know that storm by Waterloo's had some rotation earlier.
That's the one that has my attention for the greatest rotation, in addition to where the largest hail reports have been so far. And that one, Matt, it could ride the Illinois-Wisconsin border area like that spring event in 2022. So this is definitely a very robust environment for severe thunderstorms. And the activity from Des Moines to Cedar Rapids as well, Matt, that'll be something to watch more for northern Illinois to see if those cells can get going as well. They're about an hour and a half behind in development, but that's still a very ripe area for tornadoes and very large hail.
Yeah, and obviously we've got some additional development ongoing on the southern edge of some of these storms as well, John. So we'll be watching that closely for any type of storm development there as well, because the environment is very good in some of those areas just east of Des Moines. Obviously, those areas are in a tornado watch as we speak. So we'll be watching those storms very carefully. But this Waterloo storm, John, what's the speed we've been getting of this particular storm?
Check here.
And again, for folks tuning in into central Indiana while John kind of assesses the speed of that particular storm, because I do want to time out that storm, here's some general ideas for timing of these storms approaching Indiana. Again, it's the wind gusts, it's the hail. Right now, I'm not seeing anything that's screaming 60 plus at this moment in time. These severe warnings are for 1-inch hail. Let me double check this one. Yeah, 1-inch hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So again, some rowdy storms. We'll be watching closely if they could pick up some rotation, because that threat is certainly non-zero. But right now, not seeing any indications of rotation currently, but can't 100% rule that out. About 40 miles per hour. Okay, so let's pivot back up into northeastern Iowa real quick, because this storm is absolutely nasty. 1.75-inch hail in this particular storm. 60 mile per hour winds at this moment in time. Just northwest of that particular storm, west of Waverly, 1.25-inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds for that particular warning. And further northeast, 1-inch hail and 60 mile per hour wind gusts north of Elkader, Iowa at this moment in time. But this storm has my interest right now by Waterloo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to time out this particular cell here by Waterloo, and I'm going to do I'm going to do the cellular for this one, John. I think that may be a little bit more appropriate.
Yeah, especially with the hail core. And Matt, we do have a report of golf ball sized hail associated with that Waterloo storm. It's warned for golf ball as well. So that is confirmed.
Kind of a manner such as this. Let's go out a good chunk with this particular storm. John, I have a concern it may start to kind of meander off to the east a little bit.
I agree. Yeah, Independence, Manchester, is it Dyersville?
Yep, Dyersville.
Yep, those locations in particular, not only the hail risk, but let's watch out for some tornado potential along the southern edge. There's been a few reports of some funnel clouds on this particular cell. Definitely going to have, at least in the short term, the next hour, the greatest potential. Actually, Matt, we had an official tornado report associated with it closer to
back off to the
Eldora.
west.
Yep,
okay.
Eldora.
Yep. At one point, it did show some pretty significant rotation. It does look very nasty on the radar. If you're in the path of the storm, you need to be very weather aware. John, are you still seeing some rotation pop up in that particular storm?
I am. It's not quite as strong, but it's still there. They may need to look into a tornado warning in the near future. I don't think one is needed just yet. It's more hail than anything. But
if you're in a path of this, keep in mind these times aren't Eastern, so subtract an hour to get Central time for your local time. But be very aware of the storm. The storm has my interest as far as what can actually be tornadic at this moment in time, in the near term. Let's call it those particular storms. Let's shift back into Central Indiana. A lot of you folks have been asking about this. Once this line of storms goes through Indiana, will the severe threat be over? My gut says yes. I think it's a pretty short fuse severe window we have into Central Indiana. One thing we will need to be on the lookout for some of you folks into Central Illinois, there is a threat as we get later on into this evening for some additional pop-up storms that can hang out into Central Illinois, especially the further north you get, for some additional strong storm threats. But for us in Indiana, I think that the threat will be pretty quick. Now, the exception is going to be in northern Indiana because as these storms start to drift northeast with time, there's a threat for additional redevelopment. And eventually, these storms that we see in northeastern Iowa and Wisconsin will start to shift south and east a little bit, getting into the early morning hours of tomorrow. So there is at least a prolonged window into northern Indiana for some severe risk this evening. I would say generally Fort Wayne north in particular, but if you're south of that, it's pretty in and out.
And given what we're dealing with, Matt, today and even into tonight with more of those organized storms, we've got plenty of other severe risks over the next couple of days. It's a great time to sign up for Clarity Home. Scan that QR code in the upper right-hand corner. Remember that the warnings that go out, whether they're from us or the National Weather Service, they're location specific. So you don't need to worry about where the tornado sirens are sounding. Am I under the warning? If you have clarity, it will tell you exactly where that warning is and what hazards you can expect as those storms approach.
Absolutely, John. And guys, again, we'd appreciate it. If you like, comment, share, all of it greatly helps us reach more folks. But again, I've got some timings up for these storms. We're getting about 50 miles per hour movement from generally west to east, and they may start to pick up a little bit further north and east. Again, if you're towards, say, Bloomington, Columbus, coverage is probably going to be much more sparse. Better shot, you just simply miss out. But if you're towards, say, like Greenwood, points to the north, Indianapolis, Noblesville, Anderson, Muncie, Richmond, Rushville, Shelbyville, I think you'll be close. I just think you get hit with this group of storms as it shifts to the east. Again, not seeing any rotation. So the main concern with these storms is going to be the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, hail to 1 inch. There is a threat that as the storms intensify, John, we could see some large hail that could be near 2 inches, maybe even locally a little bit higher than that. But winds and hail, that seems to be the threat at this moment in time. Here's some timings with the storms for the north. Same deal, really. Not seeing any rotation in these storms. John, I don't know if you're seeing anything different on your end. Wind gusts and the hail are going to be the main issue with these particular storms as well. There is a non-zero threat for a tornado. Again, we'll just be watching to see if any of these storms can pick up any rotation. Just not seeing that at this moment in time. Okay.
The only thing I'm seeing, Matt, that's worth watching for where a better hail core can develop is just south of Lebanon, approaching Whitestown and Zionsville. That would be the one cell to watch, as it's still got a good environment in front of it to produce more than an inch in diameter hail. It's not quite there yet, but I would imagine in the next 20 to 30 minutes, if we can see a greater large hail threat develop locally, that would be the storm, in my opinion, that we need to watch for central Indiana.
Okay, perfect. And John's referencing this cell in particular, this particular cell. You can see, again, the current ongoing warning, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, which will probably be fairly common, I would imagine, John, as these storms do move off to the east. John, check out by Royal Center. Let me know if you're seeing any rotation by that particular storm up north, northern Indiana.
Talking about this little action just west of Burlington?
I'm not sure where Burlington's at. I'm talking northwest of Logansport.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
Appreciate you, Spin. Lots of thunder in Whitestown. Yeah, and I do think with these storms, we've got a lot of instability, and so these will be loud storms.
Yes.
They'll be loud. There'll probably be a lot of lightning in these.
Yeah, Matt, I see a little notch there. It's definitely something to watch, I would say.
Yeah. So we'll be in particular, what John and I are kind of chatting about right now is some weak rotation, I would say, John. I don't think it's worth a tornado warning at this point, but right in this little inflow notch right into here northwest of Logansport. So that'll be something we'll be keeping an eye on over the next couple scans. And it looks like, John, the next scan kind of lost it.
Yeah.
I have to be honest.
You can make an argument too. There's a bit of some inflow just north of Logansport as well. That's very crowded on radar. Just these cells, I think they're starting as they move east to get a little bit better of southerly winds, and that can help a bit with the rotation. But yeah, I agree, Matt. Definitely nothing to consider for a warning at this particular time.
So just some areas to watch. I don't think they warrant a tornado warning at this moment in time. And outside of that, just not seeing that much rotation. So again, let me clear off the drawing for us. I've got the timings up. We've been getting these moving about 50 miles per hour, right? About 50 miles per hour. So I do have the times up with these particular storms, so you get a general sense of when these storms can impact you. I want to scroll down a little bit to these group of storms. And again, the further south you are, just towards, say, Bloomington, Columbus, Greensburg, Batesville, just the better threat you're going to have of just missing these storms. Look at the radar. In fact, I'll loop the radar, and you can get a sense of how this is progressing. But this is fairly widespread. So Indianapolis, highly likely you're going to get storms. Towards Newcastle, highly likely you're going to get some of these storms. Noblesville, highly likely. Anderson, highly likely. Muncie, you're going to be close. Very close there. I think you probably get caught on the extreme northern edge of some of these. But wind gust and hail, that's the threat. There are no tornado warnings at this moment in time, and any severe warnings that we do have. John mentioned that cell by Lebanon. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is the current ongoing wording and warning for that particular cell. Even outside of storms that aren't severe warned, probably can continue to have some wind gusts near 40 miles per hour, I think, at the very least, in some of these storms. So be aware of that. These storms can be a little bit rowdy, so to speak, in addition to just the lightning threat that we can encounter with some of these storms as well.
So Matt, I just went through a couple radar scans here. I see intensity holding for these storms in both central and northern Indiana. I wouldn't describe them as they're getting stronger just yet. Those northern Indiana cells, if you look on velocity, Matt, they're looking as if they might have some better potential for damaging winds on the forefront of them. But otherwise, they seem to be holding for now, and no other areas of rotation for tornadoes at this point, which is good news.
Yep, for sure. Someone just asked about Marion. I've got 551 on the timing. Wind gusts and hail are going to be the primary threat. So you can see some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And generally right now, I would say 1-inch hail There is a non-zero threat for a tornado. Again, John and I continue to watch to see if any rotation get picked up, which we're not seeing at this moment in time, at least nothing robust. And there is a threat that there can be some 1-inch plus hail in some spots. I don't think that's widespread. That's probably going to be something a little bit more localized. But I will say the storms in northern Indiana, John, and we do have a new severe warning that has just popped up just northeast of Logansport. There's 1.5-inch hail. So there we go.
Yep.
1.5-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in those particular areas. And John, you were just mentioning those storms have a little bit of a better threat into northern Indiana. John and I were looking before the stream. There is just a little bit more instability in northern Indiana versus there is towards, say, central Indiana.
And Matt, there is a confirmed report just north of Logansport of golf ball sized hail as of about 10 minutes ago.
Golf ball size hail. What size is that, John?
1.75.
1.75. That's no joke. That's some serious hail. How's the Whiteland area looking? Looks like you're going to get storms. Near about 552.
They don't look as impressive towards southwest of Indianapolis International. They just look like good old fashioned storms right now. I'm not seeing much of a strong storm risk on them thus far.
Yeah, John, for sure. That storm though, northwest of Indy, kind of just west of Zionsville, looks like it has a decent little hail core on it. Notice this darker color just by Advance, Indiana. John, I wouldn't be shocked if you get some golf ball size hail in that particular storm, maybe a little bit even stronger, just purely based off what it looks like on the radar.
Yep, Matt, if you go to the local radar, you will see the hail spike stretching all the way up towards Colfax and Thorntown.
I see it. Yep.
And I'm going to check to see if correlation coefficient shows that as well. But yeah, that's the cell that I've been concerned about that can really get going as it works into Hamilton County. Correlation coefficient has a spike on there as well. Products that we use as meteorologists, but that also are available to you on Clarity.
This particular area, John, I'd be concerned about some pretty large hail.
Yes.
It's moving almost due west east at this point. The radar signature is fairly impressive at this moment in time. John, maybe this is a spot where we can get to 2-inch hail.
Yeah.
In some of these spots. So again, you're just north of the Indy metro area. That includes Whitestown and 511, Zionsville 519, getting to Carmel around 525. Would not be shocked if you get some 2-inch hail and some wind gusts near 60 miles per hour on that storm. That storm is certainly packing a punch. As John noted, further to the south, doesn't look incredibly impressive on some of the latest radar scans. I wouldn't be shocked, John, still some small hail. We'll see if these can intensify a little bit. So wind gusts near 40 miles per hour. But right now, that particular storm has my interest in terms of a hail threat. Still not seeing the rotation there for, what I would call anything tornadic or anything of that nature. Okay. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate you. Anderson, yeah, I think if you're in Anderson, you'll at least need to watch this storm. Wind gusts and hail. Right now, just the trajectory of the storm, that looks like the hail core may just venture just to your south. You can see near 5:53 p.m. For this particular area of storms to kind of make its approach upon you. But wind gusts and hail. Again, we'll be watching for the tornadic threat, but right now, rotation seems rather non-existent with these particular storms.
Matt, there's one storm I do want to mention. It's just to the northwest of Kokomo. It too is starting to show characteristics of a forming hail core, but there's no storms to its south or southeast for a county or so. That would be the storm northwest of Kokomo to watch to see if we can get any type of notch to form. Now, I'm not seeing any of that on radar right now. I want to be very clear, but that particular cell, I think, merits close watching as it gets into Howard County, not only for hail, but some potential rotation. Sometimes when you don't have a storm blocking it to the southeasterly edge, it can have an easier time to wrap around. Even in an environment like this, Matt, where it's not the strongest tornado environment compared to eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois.
At a track meet in Shelbyville, when can we expect the storms to get here? Now, Shelbyville, it's going to be close with the southern edge of this, but just the way it's moving west to east right now, about 618. So until then, you're probably good, but you get to about 618, that's when things start to get a little dicey for you. Great question. Debbie, appreciate you. Appreciate the comment. Rushville, you're kind of on the same boat as Shelbyville. Again, caught on the southern edge of these storms. This the wind gusts and the hail, I would say primarily, but they don't look super impressive. If they kind of hold their intensity now from 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some small hail, will be possible to see if they can intensify a little bit. Rushville around 6:37 p.m. Josh asking about Sheridan and Noblesville. Sheridan, you're kind of caught on the northern edge, 514. Well, I guess the rain's on you now, right? So that you should start to see that intensify over the next couple minutes, really. Noblesville about 532 for the leading edge. It'll probably start out raining and then gradually intensify over the course of about 15, 20 minutes. As the corridor of the strongest storm starts to shift into your area.
Bloomington, I saw a couple questions for Bloomington.
I mean, just the way these look, I mean, you probably avoid the strong storms. I mean, based off how things look. I mean, there's a few cells off to the west, John, but they don't look particularly too impressive, and it's very scattered.
Yeah, I agree.
So a low end risk for a passing shower, I'd say even a lower end risk for a storm around 5:46 p.m., but much more hit and miss, and the stronger of the storms will certainly be to your north based off how things look.
Tiffany, thank you for the report. Pea-sized hail now in Lebanon. Tiffany, it looks like the hail core is going just south of Lebanon, where we're seeing some of that better potential of a quarter or more. That helps confirm where the core is actually existing.
Yeah. See these darker colors southwest of Lebanon? That to me is suggestive of a pretty nasty hail core. But again, it's southwest of Lebanon. So let's see if we can get any east of South 500 West, west of South Lebanon Street, if that kind of correlates to anyone in that particular area. Muncie area, again, it's going to be close. You can see these storms. In fact, let me loop the radar for us. You can see the storms moving from west to east. Gosh, John, I think they can expand a little bit further to the north, and that's what some of the data suggested as well. Around 609 for the leading edge to get to you. Wind gust and the hail. John, you see anything for rotation in these storms?
I don't, but I see something else interesting, Matt. You see that cell by Sheridan? It's almost as if the main cell that was formed in western Boone County, it's splitting right now.
Okay.
So the hail cores between Lebanon and Whitestown, that one by Kirkland and Sheridan, that probably will have more of a tendency to push towards Muncie if it can hang on.
Okay. So
Sure isn't great for this, but it's good enough to keep at least a low end hail risk as that cell pushes northeast.
So John, what John's talking about in particular is this storm. Let's see if I can bring out the drawing tool. This storm I'm highlighting in this zone, the fact that it's splitting does suggest that we can see a little bit of some northerly expansion with some of these storms as it does push to the east. So given the fact that we're seeing that, maybe the threat increasing a little bit for Muncie at that 6:09 p.m. Eastern time frame. And I'll retime these out here in just a moment, just so we can get the latest with the timing for folks.
Matt, I do know
Alexis Leo just got stuck in the garage with a bleep ton of hail and rain. Lebanon, one hit me in the leg. Yeah, that's so it looks like some nasty hail, especially just south of Lebanon in that particular storm. Again, for some of you folks towards Indianapolis, the storms do not look particularly impressive, dare I say, at this moment in time. Again, some lightning, sure. Small hail, sure. But right now, they certainly don't look severe. But here's the latest timing for you nonetheless for some of those showers and storms. Certainly looks a little bit more impressive for some of you folks into northern Indiana, just given how the radar's looking. Again, not seeing anything that's screaming rotation, screaming tornado warning. Again, as we see that, we'll let you know. But wind gust and hail, the southern edge storm, John, you're right. That may be the storm to watch upcoming. You can see Kokomo. It's just to your north, and it looks like it's, unless you're on the north side of Kokomo, going to scoot just to your north at this point over the next couple minutes as well. I do think, to John's point, we'll need to watch, especially these storms filling in between a little bit. So as we see that, we'll be watching. So don't let your guard, I would say, completely down if you're in Kokomo or in between these timing that we have up in particular. We'll just kind of, as we see that, we'll let you know of those particular storms. Always falls apart for Indy. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just about ready to acknowledge that one. It seems like it.
Fort Wayne, here's some timing around 6:11, the leading edge. Some of these storms, wind gusts and hail, the primary threat. And I would say wind gusts 60 miles per hour, hail to an inch. Those will be more of the theme. There is a threat. You can get something a little bit stronger and a little bit larger for hail, but need to kind of see that evolve until we could say with certainty in regards to that. So just some rowdy storms and probably some prolific lightning producers as well.
Matt, if you turn on the lightning tab in northern Indiana, it is producing a lot. Not that this is a surprise, it's like we said, but you're in that blue time zone right now. You're going to definitely hear quite a storm as it rolls in. That shows a very healthy updraft, very good strong to severe potential moving into Fort Wayne, Columbia City, Huntington, Warsaw, Wabash.
Yep. It's no surprise, John, that the storm there by Lebanon has the lightning and the hail core. The storms to the north have the hail cores and the lightning. They kind of go one and one, hand in hand together. The hail risk and the lightning, typically, not always, typically.
And that blue lightning that you're seeing, that's lightning within the past minute. So that's how it's populating the strikes. A lot of strikes there in a short time frame.
Looks like the team's still getting around 50 miles per hour. They just said 48 miles per hour north of Kokomo. So we're pretty close to
45
to the timing we have. Getting 47 miles per hour west of Indy. So here in a few minutes, we can retime some of this out, John, and get the latest with some of these storms. Real quick, John, I want to pivot to some of our friends into Iowa. Still some very nasty storms. You can see I have that timing up. This is still the storm I'm interested in. It's on the southern edge of some of these storms. I'm not saying the storms further north can't produce a tornado, but this storm by Waterloo has had a history of producing the rotation, the very large hail in that particular storm. And the environment up here into northeastern Iowa, even getting into southern Wisconsin, is certainly a little bit more robust versus what we're seeing into Indiana at this moment in time. So anyone watching, if you're towards Waterloo, towards Dubuque, Platteville, Madison, of course, eventually Janesville, Milwaukee, etc., do think these storms getting into the afternoon to the evening can absolutely pack a punch. You'll want to be very vigilant of the weather as we head into the evening hours of today, because the environment is robust, to say the least, in these spots. So we'll be watching these storms closely to see if they can drop any type of tornado warnings, etc. John, what are you seeing for any rotation by Waterloo with that particular, or any of the storms in those areas?
Waterloo cell continues to be the main one. There's also another cell by Plainfield, which is just south, that pair of cells southeast of Mason City. You can tell they're trying to get going. Nothing that I would say is tornadic. You can tell they're still in the early stages of just producing a lot of hail, and then as they push to the east and mature a bit, I would be more concerned about the rotation aspects of it. The one cell that is looking pretty gnarly would be west of Madison. It's still only producing hail, but you can see it trying to want to hook a bit more. So these cells, I think, Matt, probably in another hour, we're going to be seeing a lot more tornado warnings than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, the issue with some of these storms as well, John, is our winds about 5,000 feet above the surface. They're only going to increase over the next couple hours. And as that occurs, you just get naturally a little bit more rotation that's going to be available for some of these storms. So certainly not anywhere near to being over yet if you are into northeastern Iowa into southern Wisconsin. And again, we'll be watching closely for any redevelopment that can occur back off to the west into Illinois this evening. But right now, John, I'd say not seeing anything of concern at this moment in time.
I agree.
I'm going back to some of these questions. Joe, I appreciate you. Appreciate those kind words. Guys, if you want to sign up for our Clarity application, that's where I have all these storm tracks and the radar and the warnings, etc. All our forecasts get distributed through our Clarity app. That QR code in the top right-hand corner. Some of my team will also put the sign-up link in the chat. Right now, we're having 20% off Clarity Home. Use code STORM20. That'll get you the 20% off. But we do tons of stuff outside of these lives. We really appreciate you kind of at least checking us out at the very least. Keep in mind as well, like, share, comment, all of it. We would greatly appreciate that to help us get to some more folks. Barry,
Kate,
appreciate you.
Kate, it's probably due to just a couple of these cells they're watching northwest of Bloomington. There's a cell west of Martinsville that looks like it's trying to get going, but better safe than sorry. I don't disagree with at the time them issuing it for Bloomington. We'll at least need to keep an eye on it. It might get expired real quick here if nothing gets going.
Oh, were they asking why Bloomington's in the severe thunderstorm watch?
Yep.
Well, keep in mind they issued a lot of this before a lot of this was even fully getting going. So that they did their best to get a risk area. I'm not here to knock on the National Weather Service by any means. Any rotation, John, you're seeing in Indiana? I want to continue to keep a close tab on that.
Nothing at this time. Kokomo cell's got a report of dime-sized hail. It's just along just west of Galveston, probably closer to Deer Creek.
Okay. You can see this particular warning that's approaching Bunker Hill by Galveston, Indiana, 1.5 inch hail, John, on that particular warning, wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. Denver, Indiana, 1.5 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds in that particular cell as well. So they're packing a punch. They're a bit rowdy. There's going to be plenty of lightning in some of these storms. Again, looking just west of Indianapolis, not great, if I have to be honest. John, if anything, as it's approached Indy, it looks like it's, dare I say, weakening a little bit. I would even say, John, that we've been mentioning this hail core southwest of Lebanon. It looks like it's kind of died down a little bit over the last few scans. So good news as far as the threat as it starts to shift off to the east, starting to lose a little bit of its steam.
Which is good news. Honestly, that left moving cell, Matt, that I was talking about, it might have a little bit higher over Sheridan, a little bit higher DBZs than the cell by Whitestown. But yeah, regardless, we seem to be losing our intensity with this particular severe thunderstorm warning. That still doesn't mean that it can't be hailing by any means. I just think the worst of the hail is likely going to be getting closer to subsevere. We'll
Absolutely. So still these storms packing a punch north of I-70. In particular, this group of storms, just a little bit more robust. And again, we've got some timing up in particular with these storms. And just need to continue to watch to see if anything can develop in between these as well. But no rotation right now, not concerned about a tornado. We'll be watching to see if they can pick up any. It's the wind gusts and the hail. That's the issue. And again, I've got some timings up for us so you can get a general sense of when this may start to first impact you. And John, I may go ahead and redo some of the timing using about 48 miles per hour. I may try to time out the storm part itself for folks. May help giving them a little bit better sense of when the heaviest of the storms can start to impact. So we'll do that here in just a moment.
Yeah, it looks like almost the rear edge of the storms, Matt, on both of these line segments or little clusters, if you want to call them, that's really where the more intense part is located.
I'm going to veer back up to our friends in Iowa and Wisconsin. Don't want to completely ignore those folks. Again, the more prolific severe threat is in these particular areas.
Wow, that cell in southern Wisconsin by Madison, that hook is starting to get going on local radar there. Just south of Arena, west of town of Vermont in Wisconsin. If you were under that severe thunderstorm warning right now, yes, yep, that particular cell. If you're in the path of that severe thunderstorm warning as that starts, and the worst of it should stay just west of Madison, but that particular cell I'm concerned about. Very large hail of over a quarter size, likely closer to golf ball, and some rotation on the backside, eventually evolving and developing.
John, what's the speed of this cell we're getting? Let's go ahead and give folks an idea of trajectory and timing with this particular cell.
I was getting about 40. Let me double check again.
Okay.
I have it's a slow. Getting closer to about 33 now, Matt. 33, 34 from southwest to northeast.
Okay. And I see the rotation, John, in the area you're talking about, kind of by the town of Vermont.
Yep.
I believe that's the name of the town. The name of the town is the town of Vermont. Okay. So let's do a new track, and we'll make this purple. And John, it looks like it's moving to the northeast in particular. So I'm going to kind of split this cell in half as far as timing out the rotation aspect of it. So if we do something like this, and you said 34?
Yes, 34.
Oh, let me delete the. $34. And we'll draw this out. Something like this, John. I've got some city names up here, kind of envisioning where this area of rotation can more or less track. Black Earth 547, Lodi 447. These are in eastern, so subtract an hour to get into central. 515 central, Lodi. Maybe it's Lodi. Someone's in the chat in that area. Maybe you can help me out. Pontiac 528 central. Decorah, Wisconsin 533. With that particular area, and there is a little bit of rotation showing up. In addition, John, it looks like some very large hail in this particular storm. Would not be shocked if you get some 2-inch or even larger hail in this particular storm. Hail core looks rather impressive.
Numerous reports, Matt. Numerous reports of a quarter size to close to golf ball. Oh wait, just got a report that came in 2 inches in diameter. So
2 inches. So there you go.
Hen egg size, I think, is 2 inches in diameter.
Okay.
Very large, regardless.
Perfect. Let's see. Can you please just join? Thank you. Can I please what? Lacey. I'll go back to Indiana. I know there's a lot of folks into central and northern Indiana watching this particular stream. John, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to time these out. Let's go ahead and time these out. I'm going to delete some of these old tracks.
Yeah, the central Indiana storms at this point, I think they'll likely allow that severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Boone to probably expire. Perhaps a strong storm statement into Hamilton County for some additional hail, but they definitely are looking weaker, at least not only on the wind threat, but the hail threat as well. I think you can still get some small hail if you're on the northeast side, if you're in Hamilton County, all the way down from Morse Reservoir through Noblesville and Fishers.
John, about 48 miles per hour, yeah?
Or just got 45 on it, but yep, that's pretty
45?
close. Yep.
Okay. We'll go 46. And I'm going to time out this leading edge, John, primarily. Something like this. I did my best to kind of outline the more of the leading edge of the core of these storms. If you're towards Alexandria, Anderson, even Muncie, you may get a storm that arrives a little bit faster. But as far as the strongest point, and to be honest, as far as this particular area, it's if you're especially north of this red line, that's where probably the strongest of the storms will be. John, maybe the storm approaching Greenwood's trying to get its act together, maybe a little bit. But any severe threat south of that red line is probably going to be much more sparse in nature. Wind gusts and hail. Still not seeing any what I'd call super concerning signs in terms of rotation.
Yeah, it's definitely it's pretty weak. I'm not seeing any concern areas on radar at this time. I am continuing to see on both radars, local radars, central and northern Indiana, that Kokomo cell. Looks like they did just issue the new severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Howard. And that's quarter-sized hail. It would not surprise me to still see some 1.5-inch in diameter hail on that storm. And then the second cell just northeast of Grissom Air Force Base in Peru also has a decent core on it. So it's definitely hail-producing storms, likely some gusts of at least 50. Still, I'm not, from my vantage point, Matt, I'm not seeing any rotation. If there were to be some, it would be from Kokomo to Galveston, but I don't see any on radar at this point. So just hail and damaging winds.
We're going to have a little bit of overlap in this particular one, but John, 46 probably can use for this grouping of storms as well.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So here's some general timing out ahead of that. With this group of storms, and again, not seeing much of a tornadic threat. Wind gusts and hail looks to be the primary concern at this particular moment in time. We do have a few strong storms here in eastern Ohio as well. You see this particular warning: 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. But that threat looks like it's starting to gradually exit eastern Ohio, John.
Matt and Noah just did a new nowcast for that area as well. If you want to just show that perfect example of what you get if you're signed up on Clarity. Have the ability to get our customized nowcasts, which show timing, impacts, severe risks as well.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here's the nowcast that forecaster Noah Began did. And again, if you're interested in Clarity, these are the type of nowcasts we're issuing in our application. So if you're in that area that Noah has done the exit timing for, you would get a notification on your phone of an update. A lot of times we're talking about timing, whether it's ETAs or exit timing or threat windows, etc. These type of nowcasts are fairly common, and you can see he's trying to time out the exit timing of some of these storms near the Pittsburgh area into extreme southeastern Ohio and southern Pennsylvania. So if you're interested in checking out Clarity, we do have 20% off Clarity Home right now. That QR code in the top right-hand corner, go ahead and sign that. Someone in all my team will send a sign-up link in the comments as well. But use code STORM20 and you get 20% off. A heck of a deal, and you're just getting tons of value with our whole team of meteorologists. We got meteorologists on staff 24/7. We're watching this around the clock. Nonstop, and we do so much more than these lives. Again, continue to track these storms. Central Indiana, northern Indiana, wind gust, hail, main issue. We're watching very closely some of these storms. John, check this out: 2.75-inch hail, destructive thunderstorm warning. So if you are on Clarity and you see these orange warnings go up, that means they have the destructive tag, which means they are not just severe warning, but they're excessively severe. In this particular instance, this storm that John and I were noting in terms of having some rotation and a potential down the line a tornado threat. 2.75-inch hail. John, what is 3-inch hail? Is that softball size?
2.75 is baseball. I think softball's what, 3.5?
Okay.
But there is they have confirmed reports in the cell of baseball-sized hail.
So that is a nasty little storm ongoing here into south central Wisconsin ongoing now. John, 34 miles per hour, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Let's go ahead and just time out this cell as a whole.
And I'm not seeing as much of the rotation tornado risk on it. But when you're dealing with hail like that, the severe risk is still very, very prominent. So regardless, that cell is continuing to be the peak one of the day. We've got another one by La Crosse as well that just continue to be hail producing supercells.
Here's some general timing. If you're out ahead of that storm and you're watching into Wisconsin, keep in mind these times are in Eastern, so subtract an hour to get the general timing of the leading edge of the storm in Central Time, if any folks are watching in that particular area. Corey Hill, downtown Indy, getting hit hard as we speak. Yeah, it's a nice little thunderstorm. Not warned. Probably some lightning, a brief burst of some heavy downpours. The strongest of the cells look like they're north of I-70, north of the Indy Metro,
Yes.
where we still have a severe warning. And I don't know, John, maybe we get a few more severe warnings on this northern grouping. But at this point, just given what I've seen recently, pretty doubtful that we'll get any type of tornado warning. And again, I've got some timing of these storms further north. You can see it's on Wabash, on Warsaw, just north of Kokomo as we speak. And here's some general timing off to the east. So if you're in this area, here's the timing. Again, wind gusts 60 miles per hour, hail, you can see 1.5 inch. We'll see if we get any larger. I haven't seen, John, any warnings, 2-inch, 1.75 inch. We'll see if we can get that to develop. But wind gusts and hail in Indiana, that's going to be the primary concern with these storms. John, if anything, I don't know if you would agree or disagree. They may lose a little bit of steam getting into Ohio. So many folks out ahead of this into Western Ohio. I'm not saying you can't get a stronger storm, but as we start to lose a little bit of daylight, we start to get out of a little bit more robust instability. I think they may just lose a little bit of steam as they move to the east.
Yeah, Matt, I think if these cells in northern Indiana, this group, this multi-cell cluster, whatever you want to call it, if it can stay organized, it's still got a decent environment out ahead of it where it can probably maintain at least a hail damaging wind risk to the state border before we start to see any signs of it weakening. The storms in central Indiana, we'll need to keep an eye on them as they push east, but they are not looking very impressive to me from a severe standpoint, approaching Muncie, Richmond. There's a severe thunderstorm watch for a reason. I'm not saying there can't be severe weather with this, but they're just storms right now. So some small hail, a few stronger gusts of 30, 40, but I'm not seeing much that's concerning me, at least right now, on radar.
I see a question. Bev asked a question about Cincinnati. Probably goes to your north. Probably goes to your north. Just looking at how it looks on the radar right now. So should be good, Bev. Middle school track meet in Beech Grove. Just got put in a lightning delay. Should be pretty brief, I would imagine. I don't see anything developing really in behind, the exception kind of just northwest of Spencer, Indiana, south of Cloverdale. A few more storms kind of trying to develop, but doesn't look severe at this point. Very welcome, Bev. Oh, a girl in a boy storm. Sure. Yep. Do I have time to mow my grass in Greenwood? Probably not. I don't know how big your yard is, but rain's kind of on your doorstep. I'd hold off. Great question. Dustin, maybe the storms north robbing the energy of Indy storms. That's typically not how it works. The storms north robbing energy further to the south. I just think the greater ingredients are just a little bit further north. You have a little bit more access to the stronger winds aloft and just a little bit more instability, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the low level jet, Matt, too. It's a bit more, the better region is pointed more into, I would say, almost the northwestern part of the state. So that would not surprise me as well. Matt, these cells out here in eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, right now, all of them seem to have large hail characteristics. Again, I'm not seeing any rotation, but just the amount of hail signatures I'm seeing on radar, I probably have about 6 that are noteworthy at this point that are producing severe hail.
Real quick, John, we just got a big influx of questions from folks in central Indiana. So I want to address that real quick. Bloomington, Knightstown, Fishers. Bloomington, it looks pretty poor. And in fact, it probably just goes north of you. And to be honest, the strong storms threat, John, does it look like we have any severe warning right now with this group of storms in central Indiana? It's kind of lost a little bit of steam.
Yep.
So just not enough. It's not impossible north of I-70. Maybe you could still get some wind gusts near 40 to 60 and some small hail. But right now, not looking promising for that. John, I would say that's probably going to be more of an exception than the rule based off how the latest trends look.
Sure.
If you're towards, I think I saw a question, can you zoom into Fishers? Again, you're just getting a storm right now. It's probably coming down hot and heavy, some decent lightning in it. Will the severe, go ahead, John.
No, I got somebody in Noblesville, Fishers, and Meridian Hills. And so far as the storm has worked through, they have told me it got a little gusty, probably 30, 35 at the start, but there's been no hail so far.
Okay.
So just heavy rain right now.
Okay. We've definitely, the storms here on the north side of the Indy Metro have certainly lost from a radar perspective some of the hail characteristics. And so, I would say the severe threats, if anything, dwindling a little bit in these areas. Gaston, you're kind of in the same boat. Gaston, I think, is up here in kind of by Muncie, I believe, if I remember that correctly. Yep, there it is, north of Muncie a little bit. We have seen some slight expansion to the north. You can see we got the timing at 6:25. A thunderstorm, given the latest radar trends, not super likely you get a strong storm, if I have to be honest. Just kind of run-the-mill thunderstorm. Greenwood, storms, gosh, at this point, if you want to call them storms, looks pretty pitiful down by Greenwood. There is still a storm, John, on the southwest side. This one in particular could still produce some lightning, maybe a low in risk that we can still see some hail develop in some of these, a little bit more discrete. So not completely out of the woods, but don't see anything that's screaming severe. Certainly don't see anything that's screaming tornadic by any stretch of the imagination.
Matt, I did want to, where US 31 and US 35 intersect about 3 miles north of downtown Kokomo, there was a report of golf ball sized hail associated with that storm that's now working over northeastern Howard County.
Okay.
So that storm continues to be the large hail producer as it starts to work closer into Marion, which I believe is Grant County.
Yeah. And John, you mentioned this storm too on the southern edge, kind of having in the most favorable spot for the large hail threat to continue, because it's just on the southern edge. It's doesn't have much storms really impeding its inflow into the storm, so to speak. And so if you're out ahead of these storms, let me see if I can bring out my drawing tool, especially on the southern edge. This particular spot right into here, I would say, I'm highlighting. It's the area of greatest concern for the large hail. And you can see the timings we have of the leading edge.
And guys, that's Matt drawing. That is Matt drawing. There is no tornado warning. It is just, we're just using the color to draw where we think that better large hail risk can be. I see some questions coming in, Matt.
Oh, no tornado warnings. There's nothing I see that's concerning about, in particular, rotation. So, Krista, you should have gotten a message from us in the app. I'm scanning back through some of the questions. I'm mowing in Greenwood, no rain. Okay.
Did just get a new strong storm statement issued for that cell in Hamilton County, western Madison, southeastern Tipton County.
Okay, John, there it is. There it pops up. 40-mile-per-hour wind gust. In this area, you see have highlighted.
National weather, that's the first tornado warning for Independence, Iowa. That's just east of Waterloo. That's that one cell that's been rotating.
Yep, and I've got a I've got a test location there, so you may have heard that in the background. My tornado warning going off. If you're in clarity and you've got your volume on, that's the noise it makes. John, speed of this storm for folks.
Let me do some updated timing.
I do want to get a timing out for this particular storm. And again, we are looking real quickly into northeastern Iowa. This particular area, northeastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin, the environment is much more robust versus folks into Indiana and eventually getting into western and northwestern Ohio. We just have more instability up here, more spin in the atmosphere. So when John gets me that timing, I'll go ahead and time out that particular storm. That's just approaching the Independence, Iowa area.
I just got 36 on it, Matt. It's moving.
36.
Yep. It's hauling along. It's also got 2-inch diameter hail associated with it, both observed and radar indicated.
Marilyn, I will zoom in just south of Fort Wayne for you in just a moment, but I do want, for some of the folks who may be watching into northeastern Iowa, I do want to get them a general sense of timing. You said what, John, 34?
34.
34. Okay. So in terms of the area of rotation, I would say especially the northern 2/3 of this area, this is the area of most concern that I have. And so you can see some of these timings. Keep in mind, these timings are in eastern, and also keep in mind, I've tried to time out the rotation itself. You may get some storms out ahead of this particular storm. Keep that in mind. I'm trying to time out the rotation itself. 520 Winthrop, Masonville 533, Manchester 545, Dyersville 615 Central. Okay, let's watch the storm very closely. It's a storm John and I have been watching for some time, and is of the greatest concern for us, just given its history of rotation that it's had. We are starting to get some more development further to the south, John, and I would not be shocked if some of these storms can start to go severe warned over the next hour or so. I know meteorologist Jake Wagner, for anyone on the Clarity app, he's been doing the updates out there. He was pretty keen on some of these storms developing further to the south as we head into the afternoon in the early evening hours today. So great call on that, Jake. But let's shift gears real quickly. I don't want to completely lose track of that storm into northeastern Iowa. Just in terms of by Bluffton, south of Fort Wayne, you can see near about, I would say, around 620. I'm not sure exactly where Bluffton's at. Strong wind gusts and hail will be the main concern. This particular warning We've got 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The more robust hail threat is on the southern edge of the storms, where the current warning is actually 1.5-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And it's especially the storm on the southern edge that may pack a little bit more of a punch, so to speak, from a severe perspective, just given its location to the overall group of storms. Funny enough, John, I'm just looking at how this evolves. I'm going to loop the radar for us. Fort Wayne may get split. It's kind of spreading like the Red Sea right now for Fort Wayne. So that's a interesting little radar trend for some of you folks in the Fort Wayne.
Matt, I'm going to step off just real quick. I want to go with the team on something.
Perfect. As John does that, again, I'm going to scan through some of the questions and just try to answer some as they start coming in. Or is there any warnings to be had for Greenwood? That's a great question. I'm going to watch this storm back off just to the west of Greenwood right now. Right now, my gut says you don't get a severe warning for the storm. I do think you can get some lightning and some hail with this. My gut says it's probably not going to be severe warn for you in Greenwood, this particular storm right here. The timing is for this leading edge, by the way, which is really kind of struggled a little bit towards Greenwood. But I still think you have a storm threat still left. Gut call, 40-mile-per-hour winds and up to sub-severe criteria for hail would be my call, and a brief heavy downpour. I don't know where you're at in relation to Greenwood, if you're more downtown, north side, south side, but it looks like especially the south side of Greenwood, a little bit better threat to see that particular storm, which, again, I'm a little doubtful it becomes severe warn, but 40-mile-per-hour winds wouldn't roll out, maybe some small hail. Usually it's Bluffton that gets split around. I'll let you, Kaylor, speak in terms of that. Looks like maybe Fort Wayne's getting the there's Bluffton. Found it. Bluffton's not getting split. Bluffton's not getting split this time. Pretty slam dunk, I'd say, that you get some storms. But Fort Wayne, it's kind of getting split. If I loop the radar, you can see the storms spreading like the Red Sea, right? We've got storms venturing off to the south, and the storm by Columbia City continues to kind of veer off to the north and to the east. So I'll need to get into some adjusted timings for that to account for that little north jut on the northern side of some of these storms. It looks like they're splitting a little bit for their trajectory. Let's get to some other questions. Yes, Maddie, you still got some storms left. It's getting windy in Whiteland. Sure. Would not be shocked, especially immediately behind these storms, that you can still see some winds, some gusty winds. Pretty typical. Krista, no worries. No worries. At least you're able to hop on here and join us, ask the question. Appreciate you hopping on and joining us. Timing for Delaware County. Emily, I don't know where you're at in Delaware County. I've got Muncie about 627, the leading edge. Yorktown about 619. Selma 635, if that helps. Jason, I don't know where you're at in particular, but this is I think about it. This is about it for a severe threat, in my opinion. Yorktown. Yeah, here's the Yorktown. I've got here in about 18 minutes. Leading edge getting to you of the heavier stuff. You may see some light rain that precedes that. Could the severity risk increase for the area that split around Fort Wayne? I wouldn't necessarily call it increase, but maintain. Yeah, I think areas around north and south of Fort Wayne, you can continue to have some strong to severe storms. We'll be watching if any of these storms can pick up rotation. I'm just not seeing it at this moment in time. Storm by Marion. If you're in Marion, put your car in the garage. That would be my suggestion. Looks like a nice, nasty little hailstorm approaching Marion. So I know it's storming now in Marion, but the storms by Converse, by Swayze, the hail core in that looks pretty gnarly. So be on the lookout towards Marion for some large hail.
Matt, is it just me, or did the storm east, and maybe you literally just talked about that, I'm walking in late, but the storm east of Indianapolis has maybe regained a bit of its strength that it earlier had? Just in terms of a lightning standpoint, it looks like a little bit more of an uptick than what I was seeing about 10 minutes ago.
John, it may be something where we're just getting a little bit further away from the radar. We may have had
that could be too. Yep.
How close we were to the radar issues. Maybe a smidge. Doesn't look significant, I'd say. Speaking of some of these storms by Indy, a special weather statement. Wind gusts 55 miles per hour, right? So that's just sub-severe, 55 mile per hour wind gusts. Storms are trying to get their act together, John, on the south side, approaching Greenwood as we speak. We'll see if those can pick up a special weather statement when all is said and done.
On velocity, and we're scanning now above the surface, it's showing 51 to 58.
Okay.
I see it.
Okay. So still some gusty storms still possible if you're getting into Johnson County over the course of the next, 20, 40 minutes.
Matt, this cell in exiting Howard County now, it's between Swayze and Converse, just approaching Grant. I'm looking at it on velocity. We're in between a couple radars. It's probably picking up the hail core a bit there, but on reflectivity, even it almost looks like it might be trying to rotate a little bit. Very difficult to say. It's not on a good radar angle from either one.
Nothing, in my opinion, John, that warrants a tornado warning.
Agreed. Absolutely.
We'll watch it closely. It's got a nice hail core on it. Typically, when you get these hail cores, there's likely some type of rotation in the storm. Keep in mind, when we say rotation, that doesn't automatically mean tornado. That's not how it works. But we can assess the amount of rotation in the storm looking at some various different radar products, which to me it's nowhere near close enough at this point to be concerned about a tornado. But we'll watch it closely. That seems to be the storm that can really pack a punch as it moves to the east.
Matt, they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Fortville, Pendleton, Shirley, Greensboro, and Middletown, just east of Indianapolis, for 60 and dime-sized hail.
Okay, so 0.75 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds. So the special weather statement, if you're on the Clarity application and you got that special weather statement, that was darn near a severe thunderstorm anyway. 55 mile per hour winds. Now they've increased that by 5, and voila, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like it's on your doorstep towards Markville, Kennard, about 6:24. Let me zoom into Newcastle. I know someone was asking about Newcastle earlier, about 6:33 p.m. Eastern for the approach of that storm. Okay. I'm going to look at some of these questions, John. Someone asking, let me scroll up a little bit. Clinton County here never got cloudy. Wondering if we'll pay for it later. No, I mean, to be honest, I don't know where you're at in Clinton County, but this group of storms have kind of got split there in Clinton County. These storms continue to move to the east. You'll probably be fine. Columbus, Shelbyville. I see some questions about Columbus and Shelbyville. Yeah, you still got some storms. Um, that'll be possible. Mainly for Shelbyville. You can see I've got the timer on there around 6:35 for that particular area of storms. Keep in mind for Greenwood, I know it says 5:54 here. We're beyond 5:54. I'll retime some of this out for us. But that's kind of this leading edge, so to speak, not to some of this redevelopment that's formed on the southern edge. But still some storms. John, in my opinion, probably doubtful we get a severe warning, but south of Indianapolis, but it is intensifying a little bit. So maybe a special weather statement towards like a Greenwood. Shelbyville looks like it's going to pass just to your, it's going to be close. It is trying to start to move more west-east. So you still have some storms still left. 40-mile-per-hour wind gust, maybe some small hail, but pretty doubtful it becomes severe warned. We'll just keep an eye on it. Probably not a tornado for you. Columbus probably passes to your north.
Yep, terminal radar is showing the intensification of the storm near Morgan, Johnson County border. It's been very gradual, but it's definitely a cell to watch for some. I agree, Matt, for some stronger gusts or maybe even some smaller hail here if it can continue that trend.
Real quick, a scan of some of these storms. We do have a severe warning northeast of Warsaw. 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts on the northern fringe. We've got this severe warning, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds south of that. And then the storm with the largest hails thus far, 1.5-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds approaching Marion as we speak. And then we've got this storm just south of Anderson. It's all in Pendleton now, starting to approach Markaville, Kennard. 0.75-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still don't really see much in the way of rotation. John, see any rotation up on that southern edge storm east of Kokomo?
It's not great. Given distance of radar, I'm waiting for this cell, Matt, in Hamilton County to get out of the way so that I can scan it a little bit more cleanly. On reflectivity, it looks like there still might be a little bit of a notch there, but definitely nothing that would warrant a warning issuance. Again, it's that cell. It's where it's positioned. It's where the winds are. Definitely worth continuing to monitor. In addition to that large hail threat.
John, it looks like kind of this particular area.
Yes.
Just west of Swayze. Maybe it'd be this. I don't know what. Who's updated faster? What program?
Yep. It's just over Swayze right now, which would be, what is that? 30. Is that 13? State Road 13. Yep.
Yeah. This little notch maybe. John.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Right in that zone.
Just something we're watching, guys. So it's in my opinion not clear cut for to issue or get excited about a tornado yet. We'll just keep a close tab on that. The hail core for this storm, though, over Converse, over just northeast of Swayze, as we speak, that's a gnarly hail core. And again, this particular warning is for 1.5-inch hail, I believe. Pendleton's getting slammed right now. Yeah, decent little storm there. Again, warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 0.75-inch hail.
Matt, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It might be worth pivoting here to Madison. It does appear that cell is starting to wrap up. A lot of hail, but some very broad rotation. It's starting to, in my opinion, get its act together a little bit more between downtown Madison and Maple Bluff.
Okay. Any speed you're getting of that particular cell, John?
Still getting roughly 37, 38 miles per hour on it. Okay. Southwest to northeast motion.
John, I am concerned if you're watching and you're near the Madison area, it does look like it's trying to veer off east a little bit, trying to right turn a little bit. Let me see if I loop the radar, if that becomes more apparent. Also, towards Waterloo, Watertown, Wisconsin, a destructive tag, 2.75 inch hail, 60 mile per hour wind gusts with that storm. So these storms are producing some prolific hail. It's the last couple scans where it's starting to veer off to the right a little bit. And anytime we see that as a meteorologist, it's suggestive that there can be increasing amounts of rotation in that. And the hook, John, looks fairly healthy. The rotation, I would say, not particularly crazy at this moment in time.
It doesn't have much to its south. So if it wants to try something, it would have that ability.
I will. I'm going to do my best, John. I'm going to time out this overall group of storms, Watertown, Madison, and I'll kind of use 37 miles per hour with it. And then I'll highlight the area of greatest concern in terms of where there can be a tornado. So something like this, John, I would say maybe need to go a little bit more east. There we go. So I got some timings out ahead of this. Keep in mind this timing I have is a little bit outside of this area of rotation, which looks to be, John, it looks like right on Madison, this area of rotation.
Yep, and the latest radar scan, I'm not seeing much on velocity, but if you look at it from reflectivity, it does look like a hook is at least trying to form.
If you're kind of into some of these spots I'm circling in this red area, you need to be very careful with this storm. In fact, it may not hurt just to go ahead and seek shelter to be safe, because it does look like it's trying to wrap up and produce some rotation. So again, that includes Madison, Maple Bluff, some rotation trying to get going in that particular storm. Keep in mind, guys, we are talking about the storm in Wisconsin. We're talking about Madison, Wisconsin, at this moment in time. I'm going to scroll back through the chat. I've seen a lot of questions, John. Again, every time we kind of switch back to Iowa and Wisconsin storms, a lot of folks in Indiana start reaching out about some of these storms. So let me do something real quick. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these timings I have up.
Chris, that station north of North Webster, that is the radar. That is the radar on State Road 13 that we use up in northern Indiana.
Yep. John, 47 miles per hour, yeah?
Yeah, 45. Alice, what do you mean Marion alarms going off? Are you saying the sirens are going off? Which, by the way, Matt, that cell between now by Swayze from both radars does look like there's some type of a bit of a notch trying to form. They're seeing some very high level rotation, but again, it'd be a tough call to do anything warning wise on it, Matt. I think it's just, again, area to watch for sure.
Okay.
Both radars, it's definitely, it looks like it's trying to get its act together a bit more.
Definitely see, John, I see a hail spike from the northern Indiana radar on this particular storm.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I do see a little bit of rotation there, John. Be a little bit apprehensive of going full-blown tornado warning.
Me too.
That. But this is the area where there's seemingly some rotation trying to show up. If I zoom in kind of by Swayze, you can see this little inflow notch.
Yep. Yeah, Kelly, and that's a great point. So the reason you're seeing a lot of those low-level clouds, you have great inflow into that storm. and because it's on the southern edge. So I'm not surprised that there's definitely some large hail in some areas that we're watching.
Okay. John, if you could take over real quick.
I can. Give me 60 seconds here, Matt. Let me.
Again, we're watching this little area of rotation, kind of by Swayze. Right now, no tornado warning. We'll just be keeping a close eye on that if we need to, or the National Weather Service decides to pull the trigger on that. Right now, it looks. I personally wouldn't pull the gun just yet, but we'll be watching that closely. You can see that particular storm certainly has a robust hail core on it. Some 1-inch hail, would not be shocked to see up to 1.5-inch hail, just given what I see on the radar. Wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. So far in Indiana, there has not been a tornado warning.
Matt, they did just issue a tornado warning for Madison, Wisconsin, by the way, that same cell as the hook intensifies, as it nears just to the northeast of downtown.
Okay. Certainly heed that particular warning if you are in that warning. In addition, 2.75-inch hail. And so that is a robust storm, to say the least. Again, if you're in this tornado warning, there's a lot of warnings. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning, a destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and a tornado warning, almost virtually in the same pocket here. But towards Madison, Maple Bluff, Sun Prairie, I would even, if you're towards Cottage Grove, the way this has been moving to the east, go ahead. If you're in the path of that and you're watching, go ahead and seek shelter for that particular storm.
Matt, I'm ready to take over when you are.
Okay, go ahead. Do so.
I just shared my screen with you. It should show up in like gray in your lower right-hand corner.
Not seeing it.
Or there's a button in your lower right-hand corner where you can see your face on it, but it'll say sources and it'll come up in gray as well. There's a screen to give me permission.
John, I might need you to come in here and show me because I'm not.
Gotcha.
Not
Yep.
Again, guys, while John does that, we still have a few stronger storms approaching Newcastle. We're watching this storm southwest of Marion closely for any rotation, and still a few stronger storms embedded south of Huntington as we speak.
Yeah, I would say so. These storms are certainly high. There's that little tiny settle down by Harvestville that's still kind of running towards you.
There we go. Thank you.
Yep.
There we go. Technology. We got it figured out.
Alrighty. Well, these storms have certainly turned into almost a glob on radar in northeastern Indiana, for lack of a better word. I do want to get, since I just took over here, get some updated timings. I want to start off with northeastern Indiana. We're still getting about 48. And I'm going to time out the leading edge of the thunderstorms in general. Keep in mind there can be about a 20-minute gap before the more intense parts of the storm develop. For those of you following along, this storm tracking tool that we're using, that's also a feature that you can use, Clarity Home Premium and above. You can use that QR code to scan. It's something you can use on your computer. We're working on the ability to do it on the mobile app, but if you're just following along right now, have it on your TV, pull up your laptop, you can use this as well. I'm going to time out the main leading edge of storms into Ohio. We set this for a couple hours. Here are some timing locations. I do want to bring chat up as well. Thank you. And Hope just put in that code as well, Storm20 for 20% off. So you can go ahead and click that link or scan the QR code and make sure to use Storm20 for that 20% off. So a couple timings. Now, this is the leading edge of that group of thunderstorms that is working across northeastern Indiana. I do expect there to be about a 20-minute gap before the greater severe risks of large hail damaging winds can arrive. Regardless, Spencerville, Ohio, 7:10. Waynesfield, 7:31. Findlay, 8 o'clock. Forest, 8:11. West Mansfield, 7:58, to name a few locations. I'm continuing to watch the core of this cell that is between Marion and Swayze. So it's Grant County. This cell has my attention for a couple of reasons. One, large hail. The storm does have a history of producing golf ball sized hail and has a very decent core on it. I am seeing broad rotation still right on the southwestern edge of it. Is it enough to warrant a tornado warning? I don't think so, but this is the cell to watch. I would say the area of rotation between Swayze and Marion, Indiana. I am going to time that out by the cellular level, and we can keep a closer eye. Now I'm timing out here the core and the area of rotation. Turn off my drawing tool. On this, I'm still getting about 45 miles per hour. And I will zoom in. Let me turn off my lightning. There's so much lightning in this, it won't show up all the locations. I don't know why that's not showing up any locations either. Here, let me go ahead and redraw this. Perfect. All right, Gas City, we're looking at around 632. Marion, Indiana, this part of the cell is going to have the core of the hail that you're likely seeing already. Potential of over quarter-sized hail. Van Buren, 640. Upland, 642. Hartford City, 653. To draw this out a bit clearly, and I'll zoom out so we can see where we're at. This intersection between North 00 South and 69, those locations need to be monitoring for that hail core to work through the area, likely between 6:35 and 6:45. Alice, thank you. Yes, I am not surprised. Marion likely seeing hail. Let me know how big it gets. Make sure, don't go outside, but just if you can safely observe, let us know for sure. Definitely getting some potential for quarter-sized hail. I did just see a question for Kokomo. I do think that we can see some additional storms tomorrow morning. I don't think they're going to be severe. And I think any other isolated storms that can form later this evening, probably not going to have any additional strong to severe characteristics. I do want to show a couple of nowcasts, and actually I'm going to show an updated timer first and foremost from meteorologist Brett Waltz that just put this together. And again, a great example of nowcast products that you can see. I don't know why my screen is not zoomed in. See if I can adjust that on here. This is the general timing. Again, it's those cells that are north of Muncie, south of Fort Wayne that have the best potential of damaging wind gusts of 50 to 60 and large hail. These storms south of Muncie, just to the east of Indianapolis and Hancock County, and even towards Johnson, they still have the risk of some stronger thunderstorm risks, gusts of 40 to 50, some small hail. I haven't seen any of that on radar just yet, but this would be the general time frame of the westward to eastward progression. Just chatting with my team here on the latest. Let's move to a couple of these storms. Let me make sure that I didn't miss any other questions. Amanda, we are done with the strong to severe around central Indiana with this round of storms for the rest of the evening. We'll watch some additional storms that work in through the overnight, early morning hours. I don't favor them to be severe at this point. Cells of interest continue to be this particular storm near Madison, Cottage Grove, Sun Prairie, continuing to see that tornado warning and hail of over hen egg size. See what these are being issued for at this point. Looks like hail of 2 inches in diameter, gusts of about 50 to 60. I'm going to go ahead and try to time out the leading edge of these cells. For those of you that are in Wisconsin, we'll continue to track these as well. Thank you, Dustin. Yeah, we saw one of our meteorologists, Hope, just sent in a picture near her location as well with a few of those storms. Getting roughly about 38 miles per hour. And I'm going to time this out in a way that shows the northward extent. West Bend 605 Central, Iron Ridge 553 Central, Burnett 609 Central, Beaver Dam 558 Central, Columbus 536 Central, and Hartford 547 Central. These storms capable of producing very large hail, and we're continuing to track that rotation between Madison and Sun Prairie. No confirmed reports of tornado, but Matt's still seeing some rotation on radar.
Yeah, I was just chatting with the team while I was making a fresh cup of some coffee, and John's the couple of notes real quick. The storms in southwestern Wisconsin, kind of by Lancaster, Wisconsin. It's right along the Wisconsin. Yep. There's is that a confirmed tornado warning, John?
Yep, that's the pink one here that just showed up.
I think that's probably pretty appropriate. Obviously, it's confirmed. I see the rotation. But look at the storm just to the west, southwest of Patch Grove with that severe warning. In my opinion, there probably needs to be a tornado warning on that particular cell as well, given the rotation and the obvious the environment we're seeing with that storm as well. So these storms are starting to kind of show themselves as far as having the rotation across the board. And there's even a little bit of rotation, John, northwest of the town of LaValle by Hillsboro, Wisconsin. I see some rotation showing up in that particular storm as well. That's one a little bit further to the north.
I was checking to see if I saw any debris signatures on our correlation coefficient. All of these cells getting good access to southerly winds, which is helping promote the rotation.
I saw someone ask about Newcastle, Indiana. Storm is on your doorstep if you're not already experiencing it. Not seeing any rotation right now. 0.75 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. So if you haven't gotten it already, you're about ready to get hit by a little storm here.
Let's go ahead and time out these cells by Newcastle. Let me look at my other device and see what that warning's still for 60 mile per hour winds at this point. Let me see what updated timing Brett got that for.
Yeah, show the folks Brett's Nowcast.
Yep, it's, we did a couple minutes ago here. I think
Okay,
it's another great example for clarity, all levels of clarity. You get Nowcasts for this very reason. So it's personalized timing for your area, what the risks are. Again, that QR code is in the upper right-hand corner. Large hail, gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Matt, I still think that's mainly going to stay north of Muncie. I think the cells closer to Newcastle are going to be more wind than hail, in my opinion. At least the hail threat likely stays sub-severe, but certainly still some small hail potential. Been getting some questions here. Indianapolis, Noblesville, Danville, Greenwood. I would say for right now, yeah, the strong to severe risks are over this for the rest of this evening. Ashley, right now, yeah, these are the storms in central Indiana. I did pivot to southern Wisconsin there just for a minute.
Double rainbow, says Dustin in Whiteland. What does it mean? Marion has hail. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a nasty hailstorm up there. That hail core starting to pivot east of Marion. It's still pretty nasty, John.
I want to turn on my hail tracks real quick, Matt, see what we got.
Ping pong size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. I would imagine if you're towards Montpelier, you'll probably get into a severe thunderstorm warning over the next 10 minutes or so.
This is the hail track right now, Matt. Check this out. Between Converse, Swayze, then towards Marion. Our hail track tool estimating hail of almost close to baseball-sized hail. Wow. I haven't seen any reports yet, but given what we've witnessed on radar and both radar scanning that core, would not surprise me if we had quite a bit of hail.
John, I see just some reports in like extreme northern Howard County, 1.75 inch, 1.25 inch. So some inch plus northern Howard County. Don't see any, unfortunately, towards Converse, Swayze. Nonetheless, rather prolific hailstorm.
Matt, looks like we got an observed tornado in addition to baseball-sized hail now approaching Manchester, Iowa. Again, those pink warnings represent the observed tornadoes based either on radar or spotter reports.
Let's try to time that out, John. Give folks towards Dyersville and Dubuque a timing.
I was getting 39 on my latest scan. I'm wondering, Matt, if that might be a bit too fast.
I know Noah said 35 to 40 about 15 minutes ago.
And he did, and we did just warn that cell northeast of Gutenberg in western Wisconsin.
Okay.
You can see that red dashed area. That represents the BAM tornado warning.
Yep.
I will roughly time out the edge of this. Now, just for reference, I am timing out the leading edge of the severe risks, not the ongoing tornado. So just the leading edge, regardless if you're in the path of the storm, need to be seeking shelter. We'll go with 36. Dubuque, Iowa, 629 Central. Remember, these are in Eastern, so subtract an hour. Holy Cross, 553. Farley, 608. Epworth, 611. Sherrill, 612. And then into Jamestown, Wisconsin, 630 Central. The greater tornado risk, and I will draw this south of that blue dashed line. And then the area of concern, Masonville, Manchester. that's moving from west to east. I want to see if I can get a better scan.
Someone, John, in the comments, Lynn Hampton, she said, a friend of mine is an officer in Madison, Wisconsin, and she's getting golf ball size hail.
That unfortunately does not surprise me, given that these two storms here, Matt, from Madison to Watertown are just to animate them, have continued to have, and notice I'm going to actually switch this to dark mode so that everyone can see this a bit better. I remember our feedback we had from last time, Matt. People love dark mode. So
yes.
Yep. These orange warning polygons represent the destructive thunderstorm warning tag. The one that's currently for Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, Madison, and just west of Waterloo, that's for 3-inch hail. So that's just over baseball-sized hail in addition to those 60-mile-per-hour winds. And rotation now that is just southwest, or excuse me, south. Let me re-look at that. Appears to be just north of Cottage Grove now. I will draw that out. There we go. There's my radar update I was looking for. Matt, that rotation is continuing to try and tighten, but it's got so much hail in it. That would
Massive
be where the area of
hailstorm.
rotation is right now, Cottage Grove. So if you're in the path of any of these storms, and we did draw out a timer for that a bit earlier, as they start to push more from southwest to northeast, you are in for some hail. Waterloo and Watertown, you may get a second shot of large hail. So expect that destructive severe thunderstorm warning to maintain as we get into the rest of the evening here through about, I'd say, probably 6:30 Central, Matt, if you're in Watertown getting around too.
Alice says sirens are sounding again in Marion, and the hail was golf size. I'm not surprised about the golf size hail. Sirens are a little bit interesting.
That's the cell we've been watching, Alice. I have not heard of any reports come in from emergency management yet. It looks right now, based on the latest scan, it looks just like a big hail core to me. So and I know that I have Hartford City in this timing. I do think that hail core stays just north of Upland and just north of Hartford City at this point. Just wanted to include it a little bit to the southeast in case it tried to drift more southeast as well. Well, Matt, storms appear to be really getting going in eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin. The team's sharing a lot of radar images of rotation.
Yeah, let me check that out real quick. Yeah, yikes. There's one of the destructive thunderstorm warnings by Madison. I can't tell which storm it is. It has a 3-inch hail tag on it.
Yes. Yep. Well over, just over baseball-sized hail.
Rather incredible. Obviously, if you're anywhere near those storms, put the car in the garage and be very weather aware. Like I said, to start off the stream, if you've been watching this whole time, the environment here in Wisconsin, northeastern Iowa is just very robust for just overall severe threat and tornadoes.
I want to go ahead and pull this particular tornado warning cell by Hillsboro. Pull up our local radar. This is a nasty storm right here, and it's got quite a debris signature, Matt. Check this out. I'm going to toggle our correlation coefficient. It's not, this one isn't quite doing it justice, but you can, there it is. Okay, see that Union City? So what this is, everybody, this is a tornado debris signature when you see a drop in the correlation coefficient. So what that means is there's a differentiation in the size and shapes of the objects that the radar is scanning. So your red areas, you'll see those are often droplets, rain droplets. They're all a more consistent size. But when you start dealing with debris associated with a tornado, such as this one working through Union Center and just south of Elroy, a signature like that, definitely not something that we ever want to see. And I do see a new tornado warning that just got put for it, and that is likely, I would guess that's a PDS, probably a PDS tornado warning. Yes, particularly dangerous tornado warning, large tornado on the ground just near Union Center. I will go ahead and time out the leading edge of that. If you guys have any friends that are, I don't want to just single out this tornado warning storm, but southern Wisconsin as a whole, southern Wisconsin, even the cell up by Black River Falls, southern half of Wisconsin, share this, take screenshots. A lot of tornado, damaging wind, large hail threats throughout the evening. We'll continue to keep an eye on those.
John, we got a few questions, 2 questions about Salina, Ohio. Well, one was just a statement. A couple questions about Salina, Ohio. That's my home area. Just live south of Madison, Wisconsin, and south of Watertown, 20 miles, said Diane Roberts. There's a storm on Salina, Ohio, on your doorstep as we speak. Some wind gusts and some hail. I think we'll have to watch how the storms. John, it looks like the storms have lost their hail core a little bit, slightly, east of Gas City, east of Marion. But you're in for some storms for a good bit in Salina, Ohio. Probably we've been getting 45 miles per hour, John?
Yes.
Give or take. So you probably have about an hour of storms up for grabs, and the storms actually back off to the west into Indiana are a little bit stronger in nature. So the leading edge storms can still produce some wind gusts of 40, 50 and some small hail, but especially as that area storms off to the west starts to get more into your area, that's when you can start to see some hail of 1 inch, maybe up to 1.5 inch, and some 60 mile per hour wind gust. But looks like about over the next hour or so, it's going to be pretty loud for you. And a few stronger embedded storms during that time frame, I think are just going to happen. Still not seeing rotation.
Yeah, and while we're over here, Matt, that cell north of Hartford City, the hailer that we've been tracking, they did just rewarn it and upgraded it to a hail of 1.5 inches again. So it's continuing to maintain.
Not surprised.
Nope.
Matt, Randy, great to see you.
Real quick before we come back here, I do want to go ahead and show our timing graphic that we had for this confirmed tornado. Screenshot this if you know people in the area. Linden Station 613 Central, Oxford 642 Central, Town of Del Prairie 627 Central. So I've timed out the area of strongest rotation. Keep in mind it may track slightly north of this. So I want to keep an eye on these timing areas as well. Given that it's large tornado, the movement can be a bit erratic.
Randy, in terms of a cap in place, I think the problem for where you're at, I think you're if I remember correctly, the northern burbs of Chicago is the warm front is where all the storms are at.
Yes.
In Iowa, in Wisconsin. So where you're at in Chicago, you just don't have that forcing. We've got a weak little wave that has moved across central Indiana. It helps to have an old boundary from storms early in the morning that were more in the northern Indiana hanging around. But for you, it's just not forcing. The forcing isn't there. I do think you probably get some storms tonight, though, Randy. Probably as we get towards about, latest modeling would suggest closer to 9 to 10 storms start to drift southeast towards you. Can't rule out a tornado, but I think especially at that point, wind gusts and the hail become the primary issue, and flooding I think could be an issue too, Randy, as well. So I don't think you completely get missed. Anything crazy for Columbus? I assume you're talking Columbus, Indiana. Let me know if I'm wrong. No, nothing crazy. Just a few rain showers, which look like they'll pass to your north.
Jill, define it got scary. Are you talking about the clouds, the wind? The southern edge is close to you, so if you're looking out in the distance to the north, I'm sure you're seeing quite a show. But
John, I still don't see anything that screams like rotation, like tornadic rotation.
right, I don't either. I think it's just probably just the hail core itself. So sometimes you can see it depending on the angle, Jill, that you're at with the light, with the sunlight coming in. But the clouds are going to look almost a different color, because when it's hailing like this on the southern edge of the storm, the light will refract differently off the hailstones. So that might be why it looks a lot more robust or intense. And the cloud, and it looks like the clouds are coming down to the surface. Gotcha, Jill. Yeah, and this storm is still warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. I do not disagree with that. When you've got a storm with that much hail coming in, the updraft and the downdraft of the storm, you're still getting those severe winds as well. So I don't think there's any rotation for a tornado, but you are definitely, that's why your area, Blackford County, is in that severe thunderstorm warning.
Still a few severe warnings approaching Richmond, eastern Indiana. 60-mile-per-hour winds, penny-sized hail.
I think that timing is going to be very good for that eastern edge. Troy, Ohio, that's a great question. You know, it's tricky, because the way that this cell is acting, it's almost like these storms are trying to shrink a bit more to the southeast. I will defer to Brett's timing and say, let's watch for around 7:30 to 7:40. And that would be the timing to watch for at least some stronger gusts of 50 miles per hour for you, Tricia. I don't see as much hail with this, perhaps some small hail, but I think that as they progress east, I think they are going to continue to slowly weaken. Thank you, Heather. Hope we'll go ahead and check those out.
John, a question from Matthew Wohlhaas. Is that cell in Iowa heading towards Galena, Illinois?
Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and get some more specific timing for you. Now, regardless of the tornado potential, to start here, you're definitely going to be dealing with some damaging winds and large hail. I don't think the tornado risk, and let me know if you disagree, Matt, is going to weaken that much by the time it reaches your area. So I still think the tornado risk is certainly in play. We've got a bit of time to go, but I'll go ahead and clear this, just a nasty area of storms right now pushing to the east. Let me go ahead and see real quick, Matt, get some updated timing, and I want to assess this cell. Matt, I don't see, I still see some erratic rotation in there in that tornado warned cell, but it's got a lot of hail in there too.
Yeah, it's starting to get kind of crowded up with storms to the south, John.
See if I can look at it a little bit better.
It looks like a tornado warning further south by Richland, Iowa.
Yeah, public is continuing to confirm the tornado as of 3 minutes ago. Daniel confirms it as well. It is a confirmed tornado located over Delaware near Manchester, moving east at 35. No problem at all, Matthew. Give me 1 second here. I want to give you exact timing on this. We just wanted we were just trying to ascertain what's going on. If I had to show where that tornado currently is based on a couple of these different radars, the area of rotation appears right about here. It's south of Delaware, north of Delhi. It's noisy in there on our radar, but I would imagine this is a rain-wrapped or hail-wrapped tornado that is pushing from west to east. Still getting 35 miles per hour on it. Thank you, Daniel. Let me time that out.
Wow.
Well, Matt, this is kind of what we were thinking when we were talking about this an hour ago. These tornado warnings have started to pop up a bit more.
Yeah, the winds about 5,000 feet above the surface are increasing, and when that happens, you get a little bit more spin in the atmosphere that can be available.
Matthew, we got 7:06 Central for you. Now I'm timing out the leading edge of the storm that has the damaging winds, the hail. We'll keep an eye on this risk, but as long as it continues to produce a tornado in strong rotation, it's going to keep moving to the east. So definitely be prepared for this. Already start making a plan to get in shelter, get your family business in shelter as this pushes in. Not just for your area, but anyone in this pink zone, if you will. This is the leading edge of the cell. I would say the blue dashed line on my screen represents right where that track is of the confirmed tornado as it pushes to the east.
Yeah, and the other problem too for some of the folks into eastern Iowa and western Illinois is they're still developing storms south of that particular tornado warned storm. And just looking at the storms on radar, they're all trying to at least rotate. And you even have a tornado warned storm southwest of Washington, Iowa, ongoing as we speak. So any of these cells, even further to the south, are going to have the ability to rotate as well. And so if you are in eastern Iowa into western Illinois, I would say, Davenport West, you just be very mindful of the radar tonight, because all these storms are spinning and rotating and producing strong wind gusts and large hail. So an active night over the next couple hours.
Still seeing a couple tornado warnings west of Dodgeville in Wisconsin. That one is no longer confirmed, but still showing rotation. And then the Wisconsin Dells. This storm has had quite a signature on it. Let me see if it's still got a tornado debris signature. I mean, I think it's come a little bit. Matt, is that it right there? That's quite a debris signature.
I would probably say yes, John.
Yeah.
That, or it's picking up on absolutely massive hail.
Yep, and it just started lifting northeast towards, I believe it's Mouston. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, Mouston. It does look like that tornado has started to track a little bit closer to the northeast, which is indicating some signs that the rotation has weakened slightly. So hopefully that's coming off the ground. Again, this continues to be our PDS tornado warned storm that we're watching. Debris signature continues to suggest that it is indeed on the ground for now, but I am encouraged to see at least more of a northerly turn can sometimes support the rotation ever so slightly weakening.
John, the severe warning out ahead of some of those storms, just west of Milwaukee towards Waukesha, Germantown, starting to get to the northwest suburbs of Milwaukee. That particular warning for 2.5-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So the storm is certainly no joke for the hail. I believe, John, 2.5's tennis ball size or something to that effect.
2.5 is tennis ball. Yep. I finally got tired of trying to use my brain and remember, so I just pulled up the graphic up next to us so we can we can pull up the size comparisons there.
Natalie, yes, we are in Wisconsin right now.
Yep.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, I do want to go ahead and do a quick timer for the leading edge of this activity. Right now, Madison, you are in the clear from the immediate storms, but there is another round that is approaching, and that tornado warning has also just been extended that now does include Doddsville. Let me time out this activity towards Milwaukee and Madison. I do, Matt, want to take a quick check, make sure nothing new is ongoing in Indiana.
I'm looking as we speak. Just a new severe thunderstorm warning for Portland, Indiana. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, getting into Portland. A warning just kind of west of Richmond, Indiana. 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail in some of those spots. So starting to bleed more into western Ohio as we speak for some of the severe storms ongoing.
I'm taking a quick minute to time these out, and then we will go ahead and do that. This particular cell as well, if you're southeast of Watertown, I'm going to zoom in again. I'm in Wisconsin. I am not going to try to pronounce that particular city, but if you are northwest of Summit, southwest of North Lake, this particular cell is starting to, there we go. There's the new radar scan. It's showing a lot of large hail, but it is starting to wrap up.
It's a concerning look on radar, John, just given the environment. Let me see if there's any rotation in that area in particular. Starting to get a little bit more. That'd be more concerning for folks near the Milwaukee area.
Getting about, it's sped up a bit, Matt. I'm getting closer to around 42 on the leading edge.
Oconomowoc.
All right, I'm going to do the timer here. One quick thing to note. This is a 1-2 punch. Both of these cells are moving from west to east. So
I think, John, I think that needs to go tornado warned.
It just did. Perfect timing, Matt. Yep.
Okay.
They just issued, so that is a new tornado warning. Delafield, Summit, Heartland, Brookfield, Germantown. We will time this right now.
Yeah, that rotation, John, literally when I scrolled up there and I was looking at the rotation, I mean, it tightened up
Quickly.
drastically. It's a concerning look.
Matt, I'm going to include Milwaukee, downtown Milwaukee in this. Keep in mind, you guys are along that southern edge. But I just want to include you here as we're really going to need to watch what that particular hook does. Other arrival times I'll have listed here. These are the pair of two cells that impacted Madison and Watertown earlier this evening, and they are now pushing east towards the coastal areas and the northern suburbs of Milwaukee. Whitefish Bay, 642 Central, Germantown, 618, have a few other cities listed.
Keep in mind these times are in Eastern that you see on the screen. So subtract an hour for local time, Central time.
Natalie, I did just see your question for Madison. Yes, I do want to go. And again, this timing right here in the pink zone, that's for two cells. So two cells capable of producing tornadoes and very large hail. Madison, we do have another round that is approaching. And some tightening rotation was noted near Dodgeville, Wisconsin. In addition to reports of golf ball sized hail. So more hail coming for Madison, Matt. Make sure if you've got friends or family in the path of these storms, southern, southeastern Wisconsin, do us a favor, like, share, comment, tag them friends, make sure that they're watching. We're going to continue to keep a very close eye on these storms as they advance further to the east. And if you want that extra layer of protection as well, use that QR code, sign up for Clarity. We got 20% off right now.
Yep. And someone on my team, they can put in the sign up link for Clarity. Again, we've got stuff going out all the time outside of these lives. The 20% off, use code STORM20 to get 20% off of Clarity.
Madison 640 Central. 640 Central is the leading edge of this tornado and severe warned thunderstorm that is pushing from west to the east. Fitchburg 641, Pine Bluff 621, Sun Prairie 649.
Connorsville, the strongest of the storms are going to avoid you. Just looks like just some rain showers over the next 30-40 minutes or so. Nothing crazy. Nothing to be concerned about. John, another question about Salina, Ohio.
You're going to get a couple storms, I think.
Yeah.
We got one that's working over now that has potential for 50 to 60 and some large hail, but these storms across the border towards Geneva, Bryant, and then just west-southwest of Nottingham, those are the ones, and you can see these purple hail cores that have the best potential for large hail. This cell in particular that I'm circling, this is the one that's had the history of producing golf ball-sized hail as it pushes to the east. And they have been moving quite slow. I think for you, your severe risks are likely not going to end until we get closer to around 7:50, 8 o'clock. So you're in for a very loud hour, Joey, of heavy rain, thunderstorms, and some of those severe gusts and large hail. I just think you're in that quarter. Probably an inch and a half of rain too.
Yeah, John, funny you say that. I was just looking at the radar estimates and showing some spots flirting with near 2 inches by Montpelier, Indiana. And so 1 to 2 inches certainly at play, just given the fact you're going to have a heavy thunderstorm overhead for a while. Maybe a low-end flooding risk as well, John?
Yes, and I did want to bring that up. I will toggle on our BAM watch alerts, not to take away from the severe risks, but it's important to note that flash flooding is also a severe risk that we always need to monitor for. I don't know why it's not showing up. Let me see. There we go. There it is. Might be a bit difficult to see. This green dashed area is where we have a BAM flash flood watch. And that's due to the majority of these severe thunderstorms slowly pushing west to east as we get into the overnight period. It's also locations, Matt, that have seen quite a bit of heavy rain over the past few days as well, especially northern Indiana into northern Illinois. So definitely some concerns there for the overnight flood-prone areas, low-lying pavement that are susceptible to flooding will, of course, be a problem for the AM commute as well. No problem at all, Joey. That is what we are here for.
John, let's. It's been a minute. Obviously, concerning cell there in eastern Wisconsin. Certainly see the rotation, large hail core in that particular storm. But the storms in eastern Iowa. Let's talk about those again, John. It's been a minute. There is a new tornado warning now by Anamosa, Iowa. Yeah, that's the one. You're looking at it. In addition to 1.5 inch hail, we're getting these moving, what, John, about 35, 40 miles per hour. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. I was getting 45 in southern Wisconsin. These should be roughly now around 40 the last time I counted. Matt, this particular cell is, you can even see it really starting to wrap up.
Oof, yeah. Likewise, Dustin. Um, yeah, certainly if you're in that tornado warning, heed it, seek shelter. Rotation looks a bit messy, John, just looking at velocity on the radar, but certainly some there. And the environment is certainly warranting rotation.
Go ahead and put a timer on the leading edge for this cell. Also going to include the hail core, not just the area of rotation. Some timings listed for this particular cell. We'll check back as it continues to mature and push to the east, east, northeast. Lamont, Andrew, just around 7 central.
Again, times in Eastern that you see on the screen.
Matt, let's see if there's any other areas. There is another tornado warning that is just towards Wayland. And watch the south. It's the southeastern Iowa one. It's in a bit of a radar gap.
Yep, I see it. Brighton, Crawfordsville, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I see a little bit of rotation there, John. That's also warned for 1.75 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds as well. But you're right, John, a little bit of a radar gap.
And guys, when we're talking about radar gaps, it's not that we can't assess the threats and make determinations. So don't take us wrong there. We're just talking as meteorologists do as we're looking at the cell. We're trying to get all of the information and details to be as nitpicky as possible. So we're trying to explore every avenue. And sometimes when you're a bit further from the radar, it can make things a bit more difficult for us. But even so, as Matt mentioned, still got some rotation on it. Got a couple observed reports of hail as well.
John, call it how it is. We're just being some nerds.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. This one's moving around 30, 37.
I definitely want to keep an eye on that cell in southeastern Wisconsin towards Milwaukee.
Yep, I want to go back up there.
John, they did issue a very small MD there too, just talking about those 2 supercells. So starting to get into a high population area as well. So, if one does drop, may end up seeing that become a confirmed tornado warning on the Clarity application.
Yeah, Matt, the rotation is quite broad on this particular cell. It's still present. I still definitely agree with the tornado warning without a doubt, but I'm not seeing a tightening signature just yet. If it happens, it will be quick. So if you are in the path of this tornado warned storm, Heartland, Sussex, Butler, Brookfield, make sure you're in shelter.
Yeah, no doubt.
Storm, very dangerous storm.
I would even say, John, just the trajectory of the storm. If you're towards Whitefish Bay, out ahead of the warning, perhaps as far north as McQuon, it may not hurt to get preparations ready to go to seek shelter. It's a nasty storm. Flash flood warning on that particular storm as well, back towards Watertown, or Watertown, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I just
Keep in mind, guys, we're looking at Wisconsin.
I'm curious on the. I'm sure it's an absolute. Well, it'll update here shortly. We'll come back and check on that. Definitely another. I definitely an issue for Madison. So not only hail at this point, but that flash flood warning being issued, likely another couple of inches. Going to be a concern through the overnight. Matt, we got our first severe thunderstorm warnings into Ohio. Unless we've already had that, and I just missed
that one's been there for Salina, Ohio. That one may be new towards Greenville, New Madison. Should we expect more rain in central northern Indiana today? My opinion, no. There's like no apps except for one generic one for Android Auto. Maybe you guys could develop a radar app for Android Auto. Josh, we do have an app where you're actually looking at it. The desktop version is called Clarity. In fact, you can hit the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Someone on my team will send the sign-up link as well. But we're doing a 20% off right now. Use code STORM20 and get it at a cheaper price. Would not call it generic by any stretch of the imagination.
This one's built to save your life, Josh.
Very intense in Salina right now. A lot of questions, John, coming in from Salina. Yeah, Salina is an interesting spot, or Salina. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. If I am, I'm sorry. You're just kind of a train of thunderstorms, kind of consecutive storms just moving on through. They've got hail in them, they've got wind in them, and so it's intense, and it'll probably be intense for I don't know where you're at in Salina in particular, or Salina, if I can pronounce it right. I don't know if I am or not. But what are we getting these moving, John? 45 miles per hour?
Yep, still about 45.
So if I can do some math, back edge.
Back edge, I was getting close to 8 originally. Let me.
8? Miles per hour, John, or?
I'm sorry, 8 p.m. for an exit, roughly an exit time for like all severe storms for that area.
Close enough. I'm getting in my math 755 essentially.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Same difference.
First pronunciation correct. There you go.
Oh, okay, good. And in fact, if you are in Salina, the heaviest of the storms may still be off to the west, unfortunately. Pretty nasty hail core, especially towards Coldwater. Again, if you're on the south side. Oh, Colin, there you go. I'm especially concerned about this hail core off to your west. If I can get some timing for you real quick. And about around 7:30. Watch for a notable uptick around 7:30. Hail and winds. Winds near 60 miles per hour, and it's currently warned for what, John? 1.25 inch hail. Wouldn't it be shocked if you can get 1.5 inch hail?
60 mile per hour winds. Yeah, especially that cell, that core now near Portland.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking at, John.
Guys, this is a great time to ask questions. If you have questions, we're happy to answer about the current severe. We've got a couple pockets of severe warnings along the Indiana-Ohio border. And of course, we have several very severe, intense storms between Milwaukee and Dubuque. A couple tornado warnings.
Yeah, I'm still, John, just pretty concerned about this storm towards approaching Sussex. Man, some of these Wisconsin towns, I'm going to butcher. but
Yeah.
Sussex, city of Pewaukee, Butler, Menominee Falls, even towards Bayside, Fox Point, Glendale, Whitefish Bay. These are areas that you need to be on alert for. Unfortunately, further to the north, town of Erin, Richfield, Germantown, McQuan, concern about very large hail moving into those particular locations. So very nasty storm in eastern Wisconsin. It's you can see the hook kind of by I believe that's Heartland, John. Yeah, Heartland. You can see the little hook there, and it's a sign of rotation in this particular storm.
There it is. Yep, you can see it.
And
See it a little bit more
I can still see some rotation showing up on the radar. Still looks broad, a little broad, but anyway, that storm continues to be a concern. I don't want to certainly discount storms further off to the west and northwest that are producing tornado warnings, but given just the intensity of that storm and the population it's moving into, it's a concern I have. A couple tornado warnings continue, John, into eastern Iowa as well. We still have that tornado warning by Wyoming, Iowa, east of Anamosa. Yeah, and again, you can see that hooking nature. If you're towards Onslow, Wyoming, Iowa, do me a favor and don't play around with it. Go ahead and seek shelter if you're in that tornado warning.
Matt, my laptop is about 8%, so I'm going to go grab a charger. Do you want me to? You in a position? Can you wait for a minute, or are you in a position to take over for like a couple minutes?
Either way, John, it doesn't matter.
All right, I'm going to hold here. I'll hold the national radar. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sky is green, Colin. Yeah, I'm not shocked that the sky is green. Especially as the sun starts to wet. Obviously, I always think of the Red Hot Chili Pepper song. The sun rises in the east and settles in a final location. So it sets in the west, and you get the light refracting through the clouds since the storm's still off to your west, and lots of hail in that storm off to your west. And so green skies, I'm not shocked for you. I know we've gotten a couple questions in Salina, Ohio this evening. If you're there, let me know if you're seeing green skies like Colin is as well, but would not be shocked for those particular areas to be seeing those green skies. John, to be honest, I would not be shocked over the course of the next 15 minutes or so if they end up extending that tornado warning that may include north side of the Milwaukee metro area and points northern sections of the county for that particular warning. And then you could still see we have a few embedded pockets of rotation. So Madison, you're in a flash flood. I believe that's a flash flood warning right now as we speak. You've got another storm coming your way, and so flash flooding's that's only going to exacerbate those issues. So if you're dealing with flooding now, it's unfortunately only going to get worse if you're in Madison. And that storm off to the west continues to have rotation. So you've got another round of some strong storms approaching Madison as well, in addition to large to very large hail at play. And Dubuque, looks like Dubuque just got or just west of Dubuque, maybe, John, that is? No, that includes Dubuque.
It does include Dubuque.
A tornado warning. And that's the storm, John. If you're still watching in Galena, Illinois, does look like the area rotation continues to head your way. And so if you're out ahead of that storm, obviously in the tornado warning, heed that tornado warning. It looks to me, John, where the rotation's at, especially the south half of that warning. Maybe I'm wrong with that.
It's a very erratic area of rotation. I would say Matt, it's probably in this zone right here. There's a couple notches I'm noting on radar. So I think the tornado warning encompasses it well, and the northern and southern edges as it pushes east northeast. If you're in Dubuque, still continue to get in shelter as the storm approaches. Certainly has potential to produce tornado or two across the entire tornado warning area, in addition to that large hail as it works out from southwest to northeast.
And John, about 35, 40 miles per hour speed of this?
Yes, 38 is what I was getting a second ago.
Okay. It may be worth just a quick timer kind of out there to say Galena, Illinois, just to give folks a general sense of where the rotation's at, John.
Yep.
Maybe not necessarily the leading edge, because you'll likely, before the rotation impacts, you'll likely get some rain and some storms that can precede the rotation.
Make it a color that a little bit easier.
Yeah, I like that. I like the purple. Yeah. That pops pretty good. Keep in mind these times are in Eastern. And so, again, Dubuque 649 Central, Galena 708 Central for the latest timing with that particular area of rotation. So out ahead of that storm and tornado warning, I would seek shelter if you're kind of just east into Illinois. Start making some preparations to do the same. John, maybe some good news. Looks like the tornado warning, unless I'm seeing things incorrectly, let me look at clarity real quick, is we're starting to looks like we lost the tornado warning issued near that cell by Washington, Iowa.
Yes, that does appear to be more of a hail only. Matt, I do want to jump up here as this starts to
Please
work.
do. Yes.
Yep. This is really starting to, on reflectivity at least, wrap around. It's still somewhat erratic on velocity, but again, it's this area by Sussex that's working from west to east. I'm going to highlight it on. If you're in this zone in particular, this is where the rotation is tightening as it's pushing from southwest to northeast. Or I should say west southwest to east northeast would be more correct. So watch that as it wraps up here. There's another good signature.
Yeah.
North Lake, Richfield, Willow Creek, you're dealing with more hail, but this particular signature continuing to show rotation as it approaches the I-41 corridor.
Yeah, it's a concerning look, John. If you're in that area, you're in that tornado warning, seek shelter. And to be honest, I think, John, in my opinion, it's a matter of time before they issue that east towards the Lake Michigan shoreline. That looks like the northern burbs of Milwaukee and the northern part of that county, where that can start to impact Whitefish Bay. We'll see the trajectory. McQuan, it's going to be close. Bayside, Brown Deer. Yeah.
Based on its trajectory, I would expect it extended somewhere in this zone. Cedarburg, Grafton, perhaps. It would need to go a lot more to the northeast.
They'll probably issue something a little bit more broad, just knowing how the National Weather Service typically operates. But I agree, John. That to me, that's the area of concern in terms of the rotation. Now you're north of the rotation, north of the area we highlighted. Still, large hail is going to be an issue for you. What's this particular warning is for 2.5-inch hail. It looks pretty nasty on radar.
Yes, it does.
Hail wise. John, real quick, we haven't talked about a significant amount, but for folks in Madison, Wisconsin, maybe time out that storm for folks in Madison. I do see that rotation. It's the second time tonight I mentioned the town of Vermont. The rotation is just west of the town of Vermont, southeast of Wyoming, Wisconsin.
And it is cycling. Matt, I was just looking while you were pulling that up. I've got probably at least 40 reports of hail across the greater area of Madison from those past 2 storms alone. So I'm sure this additional
3.25-inch hail report in Madison.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's, you put on the hail track for the past 24 hours, that would match up very well with where that quarter went. And there's a severe thunderstorm warning that has been extended a little bit closer to Madison. I'm retiming this manually here real quick, Matt. Stand by.
Okay.
Still getting around 37, 38. I am going to time out the severe part of the cell. Let me read. I still don't like that either. Bear with me. Appreciate your patience. There we go. Now we're cooking. Third time's the charm. Madison, Wisconsin, 7:02 Central. Fitchburg, 7:10 Central. Oregon, 7:25. Cottage Grove, again, 7:24 Central. Marshall, 7:25. And then a little bit closer here, Pine Bluff, 6:42. Cross Plains, 6:40 Central. I've timed out the leading edge. If you are along and north of this blue dashed line, I will draw it so we can see it a bit easier. But along and north of this blue dashed line, this is where the hail core is tracking along and to the north. If you are to the south of this, you can still see some hail, but this is the area of rotation that we are watching between Ridgeway and Blue Mounds. Ridgeway and Blue Mounds, that rotation that's associated with the tornado warning that continues to push to the east. Just because there's a severe thunderstorm warning that has been put to the east of the cell doesn't mean that there can't still be a tornado warning at some point, but the area of rotation remains strong as it pushes east.
John, real quick,
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but now that eastern Wisconsin cell is now a confirmed tornado warning.
Confirmed tornado. Okay. Let's look in there. Yep, Matt, I see it. Northwest of Sussex, near radar indicated between Sussex and Lisbon. You can see the velocity track. So confirmed tornado based on latest radar scan right here in this zone, pushing towards I-41 Menominee Falls, north of Lannon, south of Willow Creek.
Yeah,
and we see that latest velocity scan as of 7:27. Yeah, that is definitely on the ground between town of Lisbon and Sussex.
Yeah, yep. That's a dangerous storm. Again, as I mentioned, I think it's a matter of time before that gets issued further east. That particular tornado warning.
Tornado debris signature here as well, Matt. Unfortunately, so that's moving. It's hard to say without a on the ground report, but given the environment, it could be a strong tornado as well. Yes.
So it doesn't matter if it's an EF0 or an EF5, right? The weakest tornado to the strongest tornado. Any tornado can certainly pose a risk to life and property. So,
and I'm going to highlight these areas in particular based on the trajectory of it. Brown Deer, Bayside, just north of Fox Point, you need to start seeking shelter now. I do recognize there's no tornado warning out just yet, but go ahead and start seeking shelter. I imagine another one here will be issued very shortly as this approaches the lakeshore area, but specifically these locations from where we can tell the tornado is radar indicated. We have a debris signature. I would treat this tornado is present.
It's confirmed. So somebody observed the tornado.
Yep.
So
that or radar indicated, Matt. Sometimes they confirm them, but I would confirm it on radar too, just based on those signals easily.
You know, however it got confirmed. At this point, it doesn't matter. Yeah, go ahead and seek shelter. I completely agree, John. Not to completely sweep this threat under the rug either, but you know, with the ongoing flash flood warnings in Madison, you know, that's another concern with some of those storms as well. If you're dealing with flooding and you're in Madison, you're watching this. Unfortunately, these upcoming storms aren't going to make things any better. They'll probably make things a little bit worse before they get a little bit better. John, we've got outside of those storms in Wisconsin. We talked about the Madison storm. Obviously, we're talking at length about the storm by Milwaukee. Observed tornado warning there, but a group of tornado warnings into northeastern Iowa as well that have continued. It looks like 2 tornado warnings right along the Iowa-Illinois border that we're dealing with right now. So certainly if you're in those particular tornado warnings, don't play around with it. Especially, John, it looks like that one north of Wyoming, a little bit more of a
look there.
Clear signal for a tornado.
That's the new one extending eastward, I imagine.
Okay, so
this one right here is probably what just went off. But yeah, this particular storm, it's not shown yet on this scan, but that's where the hook is currently. Look, they're just north of Wyoming, pushing to the east.
They just issued a tornado warning, John, for the Milwaukee area, the northern half of that county.
Okay, there we go. Yep. Whitefish Bay, shoreward, Milwaukee, West Alice, I believe. Alice.
I think it's Alice. Yeah.
Matt, I don't disagree with the tornado warning issuance. I still think these locations, I'm going to include it right here, need to be included. That's just given if the tornado can wrap around a bit more, it would have a tendency to come a bit north. So it would be a dramatic swing, but just something to, if you're in McQuan or near the coast there, that would be a location to watch for sure.
John, I'm real quick as you kind of analyze that storm. I want to make sure there's nothing getting out of hand back further to the east for some of you folks who may still be watching in Ohio. Obviously, I don't want to completely ignore some of you folks, but right now it just continues to be a wind, gust, and hail threat. If you're in kind of western Ohio, Lima, Salina, near Eldora, some of those spots. Wind, gust, and hail is the issue right now. Don't see anything concerning in terms of that scares me for a tornado or anything like that at this moment in time. So just wind, gust, and hail continue.
And yeah, and this storm, there is a little bit of good news here north of Brookfield. Looking at it on velocity, I would say I would continue to stay in shelter. But I'm not seeing a tight couplet or radar confirmed tornado at this time. I think it may have just lifted or it's trying to re-wrap around. Regardless, it's still got plenty of rotation on it. Make sure to seek shelter if you're in the path of it, especially if you're anywhere in the tornado warning. But the area that I'm particularly watching is right in these locations in the blue circle area.
Yep, John, I was going to say, if you're towards kind of near Butler to the north towards Menominee Falls, Brown Deer, Glendale, Fox Point, Bayside, those are the areas I'm most concerned of where this rotation can track. So kind of on the north edge, the northern half especially of that tornado warning that includes downtown Milwaukee. But just given where I see the velocity tracking, especially north of Milwaukee, I'm most concerned about that potential tornado tracking through.
Matt, I'm also looking at a couple of these storms north, a little bit further to the north of Portage, north of Madison. There's tornado warnings on these cells as well. I'm not seeing as defined of an area of rotation from this angle. Let me see if I can check on the other radar.
I see a little bit, John, kind of by
Just north of Portage, that small tornado warning.
north of Portage.
South of Westfield. There's like
Yeah,
three tornado warnings right there.
especially south of Westfield, John, looks to be where the best rotation is with that particular storm. Kind of by Endeavor. I'm sure I'm butchering these names. Yep. So watching for that tornadic risk in some of those storms as well, although it is starting to get a little messy. Yep. Is that a confirmed tornado, John?
It is, yes. They just put the confirm there. Tornado sirens going off east Milwaukee east side. Yes, they should be due to that tornado warning. But thank you for letting us know. That's I'm glad that they are working.
Yep. And again, for you, AFK, especially the northern half of the county, I'm especially concerned closer to Brown Deer, Glendale, Fox Point, Bayside, perhaps just south of McQuon. I would agree with what John said earlier. I don't think you're completely out of it towards McQuon, where the rotation may be of most concern.
Matt, there's a nowcast I want to show real quick for those of you that are still watching across Illinois, Indiana. This is a analysis and one of the perks of having clarity. We're analyzing the environment here. So initially there were some concerns that the tornado watch specifically for Chicago might be extended further to the east, which it may be. We'll need to keep watching that, Matt. But this is a great analysis on discussing what we're looking at least over the next 6 to 8 hours. So a perfect example of those storms as they work from west to east. As they get a bit closer, we'll get more into exact timing. But again, for this type of in-depth analysis, how it can affect your area, use that QR code in the upper right-hand corner, sign it. We're having a sale 20% off. This is a perfect time to take advantage.
Storm 20. Use the code Storm 20 yep. To get that 20% off. For folks who may still be watching and you found this helpful, like, comment, share. We would appreciate it. Reach some more folks. Continue, John, to see some rotation. 2 of them, and they're both tornado-warned storms in northeastern Iowa. It looks like the decent area of rotation, John, I'm noting just south of Dubuque, starting to approach the Mississippi River. Ongoing.
Wow, there we go. Looks like a pair of them. I can also see the rotation, Matt, embedded just going south of Dubuque. I want to start there.
Yep. That's the one I'm especially concerned about within that tornado warning. Um,
Let's get closer. I'm going to circle this, but just near US 52 in that intersection as it approaches the Mississippi River south of Dubuque. It's this location. You can see the rotation. That's the reason for the tornado warning. And we don't have a confirmed tornado on it yet, but the rotation is tightening. So I would definitely expect northwestern Illinois in these locations for there to be an expansion of that tornado warning, likely as this storm continues to evolve and push to the northeast.
Yep, I agree. There's another area of rotation, John, south, it looks like. Looks like by Baldwin, Iowa, west of Maquetta. Tiffany, timeline, where are you at? Timeline, let us know where you're at. We can help answer that question for you. Bridget, very welcome. Bridget, she's got a daughter working in Middleton, Wisconsin.
Just on the outskirts, that's west of Madison.
Okay.
And they just went ahead and confirmed, not to interrupt here, Bridget, they just went ahead and confirmed that it looks like that tornado just north of Wyoming. There's a group of them there. Let me.
Yeah, I see that too, John. Couple of areas of rotation. So you're in northeastern Iowa, getting into northwestern Illinois. Do not let your guard down. And then, John, we've got another tornado warning further south, the southern edge of the cells, kind of by Columbus Junction, Iowa.
Well, that's a lone cell all the way down there.
Yep, kind of all by itself.
I believe this was by Brighton. This was the one originally that was tornado warned. Looks like it evolved and now it's trying to hook. I want to take a look and see if it's really that backside by Cotter or if it's the little appendage that's trying to form by. No, I think it's probably between Cotter and Crawfordsville, Matt. Right.
Cotter and Crawfordsville.
Right here. It's the back edge of it. I was looking at this appendage down here, Matt. Sometimes these cyclic supercells, they can put these out, and that just got warned for destructive as well. Oh, maybe a tornado threat.
It's a tornado. It's a tornado warning. 2-inch
Okay.
hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then the potential tornado. John, I would agree with you where I think that rotation is in that particular cell, probably on that far western appendage west of Columbus City.
2-inch hail. The colors as it's going back and forth, it's trying to show both of them. That's what for a second I thought it was orange.
It does look like it's kind of shifting northeast a little bit, John. So if you are in Columbus Junction, I would certainly seek shelter. I know if you're in Wapello, you're technically in that particular tornado warning. But to me, it looks like the storm's going to go to your north. If you're towards Letts, Fruitland, I would even say even getting near Eliza, Illinois, which is just across the border. Go ahead. In my opinion, I would go ahead and seek shelter. That would be my advice with this storm.
I'll time this one out too. Anita, thank you for the report. It's been a day for double rainbows down in central Indiana with some of these cells. Gabriella, yes, we will likely be seeing some additional storms tomorrow. Tonight, Matt, I think we should be good.
Yep.
I'm gonna do a timer on this cell we're looking at right now, Matt.
Liliana, Ingalls, Indiana. you're in the clear. Let me know if you're talking another Ingalls. There could be multiple. I don't know if someone reached out earlier from Galena, Illinois. You are now in a tornado warning, John. They did, as you kind of alluded to, expand that tornado warning into northwestern Illinois.
Gotcha. We'll check that out here momentarily. This is kind of, Matt, the way that the cell is oriented in this particular situation, where the area of rotation is, the hail or the northern side of the storm will precede the tornado. So I went ahead and timed out that flank of it. Buffalo, 7:38. Quad Cities, Davenport in particular, planned for 7:56 Central Time.
John, how fast did you get it moving? I'm just curious.
42.
Real quick, John, that area of rotation, as we kind of alluded to, especially by with that tornado warning by Milwaukee, Glendale, Brown Deer, Fox Point, Bayside. Those are the areas I'm most concerned about. Although the rotation doesn't look as impressive as it once did.
Nope, but I do think that on the northern side of that, on that particular warning, Glendale, Brown Deer, Bayside, those literally those cities you just said, Matt, I think those would be the ones that would have the best potential to see a quick spin up as this pushes in.
Wouldn't be shocked, especially, southeastern Wisconsin's flooding risk emerging even outside of any ongoing flash flooding. Just kind of has that look to it. Some training of some thunderstorms. So, especially near Milwaukee to the north towards, say, like Jackson, Hartford, Grafton, just the way these storms are setting up, could get some gnarly flooding start to emerge from some of these cells as well.
Yeah, Matthew, if you're still on this, go ahead and seek shelter. As Matt mentioned earlier, this particular storm, that area of rotation is heading right for you into this tornado warned cell. Likely going to start working in around 6:55 Central. 6:55-7. Somewhere right around there. It's crossing the river just about right now based on where the area of circulation is.
Well, John, the storms are starting to exit Salina, Ohio as we speak, so not bad.
Yeah.
Still, if you're in kind of northern Ohio, still a few stronger storms, but nothing tornadic. Few of these cells still wind gust 60 miles per hour, 1 inch hail.
Yeah, those severe thunderstorm warnings, I imagine, will continue at least for the next hour as activity pushes in from the east. I don't see significant weakening trends, Matt, out ahead of it, at least not for the next half hour. Still got that main hail core now approaching the I-75. No tornado risks in Ohio, in our opinion, at this point. I would say we're really only dealing with hail and damaging wind risks.
John, I would agree.
Yeah. Dark red. So the dark red on the radar, and when we're looking at the current nationwide radar or the local radar, it signifies heavier rainfall rates. Doesn't necessarily equal bad storms. Of course, oftentimes when you have heavier rain, you can see stronger winds and hail, but it doesn't always correlate to the severity of the storm. It just indicates that it's heavier. Perfect, Lauren. Thank you for sharing. Any of you in eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, we're continuing to especially track these tornado warned storms. If you've got questions, now's the time to go ahead and let us know as we continue to monitor.
Yeah, let us know if you're watching in eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. Let us know what you're seeing if you're watching from those areas. Obviously, from a pure severity, our eyes are kind of focused on this area's storms. John has the purple colors you see on our Clarity application, which, by the way, we're having a discount on 20% off. You can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Use the code STORM20 to get that discount. But there is a purple tornado warning that is an observed tornado. So somebody has seen that tornado on the ground in that purple tornado warning area. We still have that tornado warning near Milwaukee, and then a couple still extending just west of Madison. And then along the Iowa-Illinois border, we've got a grouping of what looks to be about 1, 2, 3, 4 different spin-ups that we see. I think even outside of any type of tornado warning, wind gusts, large hail continue to be a threat. But I suspect as these start to line out a little bit, become more of this messy, more organized area storms, may start to see more of a wind gust threat, especially start to emerge as this moves to the east.
I agree, Matt. I was going to actually check to see, and I don't know if this is our favored model, but I was going to look at how the future radar is evolving this. Keep in mind, this is also in Eastern time. So 8, 9, 10, you can see how it tries to organize it into more of a line of storms. And as Matt said, that would accompany more of a damaging wind risk. And that's mentioned in NOAA's recent nowcast for the greater Chicago area. This would be the zone that we'll have to watch to see if it can drop more to the southeast. But from what we're seeing on current radar, the only thing that the future radar is struggling a bit to pick up with, Matt, is probably this activity towards Milwaukee. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves as it crosses over the lake and approaches Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I think especially southwestern Michigan cannot roll a tornado there. I know in our severe risk map, we had them in the orange area. Can't rule out some embedded rotation there, but I think especially the wind gust threat, maybe some embedded hail. But the top severe risk, in my opinion, getting into Michigan is probably going to be that of the wind gusts and heavy rain as well. You can kind of see how it's shaping out on the radar for pockets of heavy rain. So I know there's been quite a bit of rain over the last couple of weeks in Michigan in some spots, maybe some flooding issues as well. I think the entirety of the state's in a flood watch.
Yes, and I'll go ahead and toggle that as well. I thought there was a question earlier in northern Indiana about this, but the severe thunderstorm watch has been allowed to expire in central Indiana. That's due to the severe weather moving out of the area, but also there's no further expectations of concerns this evening. So I just wanted to make sure audibly we had addressed that and said that aloud. Yep. The flood watch, there's a couple areas. There's just a traditional flood watch, but our main concern, the dashed area, that's a BAM flash flood watch. That's a product that we can issue manually. Unfortunately, that's going to verify very well, probably, Matt, from Madison to Milwaukee, given that train of thunderstorms and heavy rainfall rates.
John, we got a comment. Josh Teachy, he said, check out the storm near Sydney, Ohio. Should probably be tornado warned.
Let's take a look. Let me pull up.
Where is Sydney, Ohio? I know it's somewhere in northwestern Ohio, obviously.
It's north of the terminal radar there. Yeah, Josh, I do see this. There's definitely an increase in velocity.
Where? Oh, okay. So Sydney, southeast of Salina.
And you'll see the uptick in velocity there as well. I certainly don't disagree with the damaging wind risk. Let me scan a little higher tilt. Yep. So looking at it here, Josh and Matt, let me know if you disagree. I see the area where we're talking about. There's a little bit of rotation on it. In my mind, it looks more like damaging winds to me.
Yeah, John, if you look at the velocity on the Dayton terminal radar, he's probably referring to near Port Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's just north of Sydney. In my opinion, I would not tornado warn that unless the rotation can tighten up a little bit more, in my opinion. That's the beautiful thing about meteorology, right? You can have 10 people look at the same thing and they come to 10 different conclusions.
Yep. Matt,
yeah.
I just wanted to relay a report that came in from Dubuque, a report of an 88 mile per hour wind gust associated with that storm that just went through.
Wow. Wow.
If I'm doing my knots to miles per hour conversion correctly.
Is that from the weather station in Dubuque?
That is from KDBQ.
Wow.
The airport. So
it's incredible.
Yep. Yes, that's confirmed. 88 mile per hour as of 10, 15 minutes ago when that storm rolled through. Which that could have easily been from part of the tornado we were seeing on radar too. I'm sure we'll assess that. Definitely dangerous storms working into northwestern Illinois. Milwaukee, good news for you. The tornado warning should be allowed to expire shortly. Not seeing much of a rotation. Of course, we still have that second cell that's starting to push in now, but I don't see much rotation on that. And that, yes, okay, that tornado, and that'll be reflected on Clarity here in a few seconds. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Milwaukee. So that one has been allowed to expire. There we go. Just popped off.
I guess, John, we'll need to see if any rotation develops still yet south. Maybe even, John, dare I say I see a little outflow over Milwaukee as we speak?
Yes. Yep.
So
I think that's probably the RFD that's working over right now. Potentially of the cell. Couple questions coming in, Matt. Josh, no problem at all. Jessica, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Let me move up.
Liliana, Anderson does not have a tornado warning. I assume you're talking about Anderson, Indiana. Storms are well off to the east. How's it looking for Summit, please? Summit, what state? Summit where?
So Sheboygan, Wisconsin, right now the current severe cells are maintaining to the south. I'll be honest with you, this cell between, is it Montello and Ripon? This is the only one that we need to track. Yeah, this general area as that pushes to the east. Let me get some timing on that. I would venture just by my own eyes telling me it'd be closer to around 8 or 8:30 Central. Let me time that out for you, Jessica, and I can get you some. more exact timing on those would be the two cells that I would say pose the greatest potential for severe weather. And I think the tornado risk should decrease as it pushes to the east, not zero by any means.
Wisconsin, Summit, Wisconsin, John.
Okay, let me come back to that here in just a second.
Let's see where that's at. Summit, Wisconsin.
I feel like I've glanced over that on my radar.
It's just west of Milwaukee.
Okay, Sheboygan,
Or west.
Jessica, let's start watching for this storm to impact your area close to around 8 to 8:15 Central. It currently has some rotation in it, some 60-mile-per-hour winds, even some large hail. I do expect the risk to be scattered compared to further to the south. This confirmed tornado warning likely will turn into a regular tornado warning further to the east. I'm not seeing as strong of rotation. So there's still a tornado risk. It's just I think it's going to be low end an hour from now, a little bit lower than what it is now. We'll continue to keep an eye. You said Summit west of Milwaukee or Madison, west of Madison.
West of Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's east of Madison. Kind of by
Yep.
Milwaukee.
Yep. Right now, no active warnings. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning, or maybe it's been there for the past 5 minutes, but that was just issued for Madison, Wisconsin. That is the next round of storms we need to watch for Summit.
John,
I do expect the tornado warning to be expired too. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, you just kind of nailed it on the head. The rotations, I'm looking at some of these storms approaching Madison. Looks like we're losing the rotation.
Yes. Yep.
So it looks like these storms are starting to lose a little bit of their rotation, but still some strong storms, and especially for Summit. Gosh, flooding going to be a concern. I still think some strong storms are in the cards. Just looking at the radar returns west of Madison, we're losing a little bit of the rotation, and it looks to me like we're losing some of the hail cores as well, John.
I agree.
Starting to turn into a primary threat for winds and flooding, I would say.
And you can also even see in some regards the little gust fronts that are associated as well. For Summit, I would, and let me make sure I want to answer the person who had that at only get one life. Okay. We're looking at approximate timing of around 8:20 for the leading edge of that particular cell. And I do think some additional large hail, damaging winds of 60 can be possible. I do not think this particular storm will hold the same intensity that the previous two have held.
John, real quick, I don't know if we've timed it out recently, but the confirmed tornado warning by Maquetta, Iowa. And then we've got that tornado warning into extreme northwestern Illinois as we speak.
I see. Erica, I do see your question. I will get back to you here in just a couple minutes. And then there's that new tornado warning just north of Darlington.
New tornado warning, John, by
Mineral Point.
Yep, you saw it pop up too.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to look at these northerly ones. Matt, that one cell all by itself, southwest of the Quad Cities, it's still going. It's got a little hook on it too. It's right out there all by itself.
Yep.
And a new tornado warning has also just been issued into northwest Loran and Savannah. That'll pop up on in a second here. There we go. And that is an observed tornado warning. There's a couple notches I'm seeing, Matt. It looks like there's one Just like there's a train of them. By Andrew, there's an
Yeah.
area of rotation. Let me draw that out.
That's probably the area of greatest concern, John. I was going to say by Andrew.
And there was
well.
there was a bit of rotation by Bellevue and Hanover. I'll just circle it. I think that's likely not the main area. I agree. It's probably Andrew. This is moving to the east. I do want to talk about some timing of that particular area, but Springbrook, Bellevue, Hanover, and then it's Illinois, Pheasant Valley, Savannah, Mount Carroll. Make sure to seek shelter if you are in the path of this storm. This is an observed tornado that is, from what I can tell, approaching or currently impacting Andrew, Iowa. And keep in mind, there's another area of rotation that is just northeast of Wyoming as well. So it's, even though this tornado warning is likely more for that area of rotation I mentioned near Andrew, keep an eye on this cell as well as it pushes from west to east. So there's going to be a couple of them. There's a reason why there's several tornado warnings from west to east. Let's time out this rotation.
John, you've been getting what, 38 miles per hour-ish, 40-ish?
Yes. On the rotation itself, it looks closer to...
I see someone asked about the Middleton area.
I just got 34 towards Andrew.
Okay.
Let me time this out, and then I do want to address that.
Middleton. Just saw that on the radar.
A few of these timings, again, this is in Eastern time, so subtract an hour. Pleasant Valley, 7:58, Hanover, 7:32, Bellevue, 7:20. This is the area of the front edge of the storm where the rotation is. The blue dashed line signifies where the main track of that area of rotation and or confirmed tornado, observed tornado based on this particular warning, is currently moving. So make sure you're in the path of this storm. Middleton area, Matt, do you know, they're not talking about Middleton, Indiana, are they?
I believe Middleton, Wisconsin. That's just west of Madison, and they just dropped the tornado warning there, which
I see. Which we expected to see.
Yep. Based off our previous conversation, not shocked. So for you in Middleton, based off what I see on the radar, recent, trends and any rotation, right now it just looks like some storms, some severe storms. Likely at this point, primarily wind gusts near 60 miles per hour and flooding going to be an issue. But the good news for you in Middleton, assuming you are talking about Middleton, Wisconsin, the package of the storms is kind of nearing you. So you're about ready to get out of the thick of these storms, thankfully.
Erica, real quick, Erica's been very patient. Thank you for your patience. Justice, Illinois, south of Chicago right now. I do think that we need to track this line of storms that can eventually develop with some of these cells. This would be after 10 Central at the earliest as to when you would see anything. I do see that these cells in northwestern Illinois, eastern Iowa that are currently tornado warned and that have a confirmed tornado. I do think as they push towards Chicago, as we get towards 11 p.m. midnight, that the tornado risks are likely going to dramatically weaken and that it would be more of a damaging wind risk of 50 to 60. So certainly have a way to receive alerts tonight, but I'm not as concerned about the tornado risk there versus northwestern Illinois. So definitely understand the reason that you're asking. We just stay vigilant, have a way to receive alerts, even severe thunderstorm warnings. But I think the tornado risk will decrease as it pushes more towards the east-south, especially towards Chicago.
Lima, Ohio. Liliana, the storms are basically east at this point. So the worst of the storms are moving east of that spot. Still some nasty little storms in northwestern Ohio. Bell Fountain, northeast of Sydney. Severe warning, 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds.
No problem, Erica.
I know a gentleman was mentioning potential rotation and some of those storms in Ohio, but unless you're seeing something different, John, I just don't see anything that clear cut that needs to be tornado warned or anything of that nature with some of those storms in northwestern Ohio.
I am not. A couple of these storms here, Fremont, Bellevue, Norwalk, that are approaching from the south. They're approaching from the southwest. They're actually moving more west to east, but you can kind of see they're shooting up. They're sprouting up. Those will have some hail risks for sure, and I think only hail risks. We'll need to keep an eye on some stronger gusts, but northern Ohio, just south of I-80, watch a couple of those cells for some hail.
Very welcome, Liliana. Yeah, John, as far as the where the highlights are, so to speak, these storms in eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois. Confirmed tornado warning. Does that include Mount Carroll, Illinois? It does.
That does include Mount Carroll.
Seems, John, the area of greatest concern is going to be kind of on the northern, especially northern 2/3 of that particular tornado warning.
I agree. I was gonna try to get a better scan. I've been using that Davenport radar. It scans the southerly edge of them, but it's also picking up on a lot of hail too.
Yeah. And John, I know you mentioned it previously. We mentioned the area rotation by Andrew, but back off to the west, trying to find a good north of Monmouth, Iowa. That's northwest of Maquetta. The western edge is what I'm trying to get at of that storm. Some weak rotation showing up still yet. That's more in the western edge of the warning, so to speak.
And one thing to note too, Matt, this is some type of an outflow or gust front. It's starting to catch up with this area as well. So as that interacts, I'm wondering if this is storm cooled air that can potentially shut off any further intensification. I don't know yet. I'm making assumptions based on radar, but I'm wondering if once this catches up, maybe that cuts this one off.
It's hard to say, John.
Yeah.
What I suspect could happen is a moment of intensification, and then it may help what we've been talking about this kind of organizing, right?
Yeah.
And this may be kind of the ending of the more robust tornado threat, and more of the wind and the heavy rain threat starting to materialize. But until that happens, certainly there's still some rotation in these storms. And if you're in the path of some of these tornado warnings into eastern Iowa, certainly heed those warnings. The environment alone is enough.
Liliana, I am not aware of an Anderson, Ohio. I know of an Anderson Township in Cincinnati. I assume you're talking about Ohio.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Anderson, Ohio is, unfortunately, Liliana.
But yeah, Matt, back to your original point. Well said. I think we're just how these cells are evolving. And Matt, even just looking at how this line develops, this is switching our radar to KMKX. Here's your Boeing segment with the damaging winds right here. And that's the one to watch.
John, it looks like the tornado warning that's now just crossing the Illinois border south of Davenport has been dropped.
Okay.
From a velocity perspective, I don't see anything that's overly concerning with that particular cell. It's still by itself. It's still one to watch, in my opinion.
I don't either. I would anticipate if you're in Davenport or in the Quad Cities, because that tornado warning has been dropped and because the main area of rotation has started to weaken, it is likely going to try to start scooting more towards the northeast. So we need to watch this for some hail potentially. If it can wrap itself back around, maybe it can turn more east. But I would, just based on the orientation, you can see the whole thing now. The past couple of scans is wanting to shift it closer to the greater Quad Cities area.
John, I'm on the Davenport radar, and I'm trying to assess the velocities, trying to get an idea of the rotation in some of these storms into northeastern Iowa, and it's looking increasingly messy, I guess is the word. That's not me saying if you're in an ongoing tornado warning to ignore it. But starting to look, I don't know, maybe the best word for it is junky.
I would circle two areas right now. I think by Bellevue, there's an area of rotation, likely being rain or hail wrapped. So that's interfering with the scan. And I am seeing some rotation in this particular notch in the blue circled area. Very, very weak, but I agree, Matt. It's messy. I was trying to ascertain, Matt, on velocity if it tried to shoot out a bit of an outflow there too, just south of Bellevue, which would explain more of a southeasterly component. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's happened, but it's just a little bit more messy for sure. We're continuing, by the way, to treat this one by Bellevue. In my opinion, this is the one that's under the observed tornado warning. I have not received any additional reports about it, and that's more than likely because you're not going to be able to see this one because it's rain wrapped. I will determine if I can see it on correlation coefficient. Hard to say, Matt. There's definitely still something near Bellevue, but
worth keeping an eye on. No doubt about it. John, I think what we do is we kind of, before we depart, get some timing for folks with some of these storms in eastern Iowa into northwestern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. And we could do the same for Ohio as well. And then we'll probably hop off for a little bit. And if we need to get back on later, if things start to take off, we can do so. But I think
I agree. Let's start into Ohio first with a couple of these cells. I'm actually going to go to our national radar, and then we'll work our way east. Matt, I'm going to start in Ohio. If you can maybe confirm some of the timings of the activity in the northwestern Illinois, eastern Iowa, I'm going to treat that as almost like a Boeing segment that's going to push east.
Yeah, I think that's about the only way we can go about it.
The risk is it slows down, but I'd much rather have timing than none at all for folks out ahead. Northeastern Ohio, for those particular cells, are moving at roughly 36, 37 miles per hour. These are capable of more than anything large hail. I continue to see observed reports of large hail, not so much gusts, although I do think let's plan on 40. I'll take these out. These are pushing from west to east. Akron, 938 Eastern. Cleveland is on the northern cusp. It's if this cell between Bellevue, Ohio, and Norwalk can continue to steer more northeast, there can be a localized hail risk. I think it's very minor for Cleveland, but elsewhere, these locations in blue, some additional timings for when we can see some of those storms work in with some hail risks, quarter size, localized severe. I'm going to time out to the severe side towards Kenton, Delaware. I was initially getting 48. Let me re-time Central Ohio.
John, as a FYI, those storms back off to the west, I got about 38 miles per hour.
38, okay. That seems about right, Matt, with where the 700 is.
It's what we've been getting, I think, generally,
Yep.
give or take. So,
okay, 45 in Central Ohio. Change this color. Zoom in. Marion, Ohio, 850 Eastern. Westerville and Columbus, Ohio. Westerville and Columbus, Ohio, 920 to 925. Let's watch for these particular cells to drop a little bit further to the southeast. I'm not seeing that indication right now, but if there can be some additional gusts hitting the outskirts of Columbus, it would be just after 920, 925. Mansfield, 930 Eastern. I am going to next time out. Baby Mexico Z3G says he is in Oklahoma. Right now, it's just been some showers and thunderstorms. I was just looking down there a bit ago. No strong to severe currently.
well, depends on where you're at in Oklahoma. If you're close to the Red River, we've got a
Yes,
one
that's true.
warning by
You know, that's a
Wichita
good-
Falls.
Yep, that's a good point, Matt. I don't know why when I saw Oklahoma, I just thought Oklahoma City. So yeah, let us know where you're at in Oklahoma. I can get a little bit more specific. My apologies. I just immediately saw. I was like, oh, Oklahoma City. I just checked there a minute ago for one of our baseball teams. So you said you were getting 38.
Correct. I can hear the echo out there.
Mm-hmm. I'll put a little bit more on this. All right, current timing. Now, these are the developing storms that are developing more into a line or a cluster. The further east you are, the lower confidence in the exact timing. So Chicago, this says 10:57. I think the risk to this is that they arrive much later and that some of these storms can slide a little bit to the north, but we'll need to keep an eye on this. Again, this is a look based on how I expect this to track and my belief that these particular storms can dive a bit more to the southeast. But again, the further east you are, expect refinements, expect additional nowcasts discussing timing, and those will be sent to your device if you have Clarity, which is currently on sale. You can scan that upper QR code and make sure to put in Storm 20. These nowcasts go to all of the Clarity packages that we have to offer.
Yep. And I think too, in terms of folks in that area, we've got these storms, and then there's the threat of additional storms overnight into the morning hours that can redevelop. Where it's probably, if there is a severe risk, more of a wind gust type of deal, but it could allow for some flooding risk that can start to emerge as we head into the morning hours. Because I am concerned there can be some training of some thunderstorms into really eastern Iowa and northern Illinois tonight. So that'll be a concern heading into the overnight into tomorrow morning. But severe risk, I think, drops off a little bit in terms of the overnight getting into tomorrow morning. I'm quickly, while John has that timing up for us, looking at some modeling. If there's an area, maybe we can hang on to a low wind tornado risk. Southeastern Iowa, John, there's some cape that kind of hangs out, some instability that hangs out overnight tonight. But the problem is that it's at night, right?
Yes.
It's more of a cluster of storms versus these discrete type of cells. So anyway, John, I think we start to wrap it up. Again, I know John mentioned it, top right-hand corner of the screen, you've got our QR code. We have a sale, 20% off. Use code STORM20 on checkout, and you get the discounted price of our Clarity application, where all our forecasts are going out to clients. We've got some folks working on Nowcast as we speak, and as John and I start to hop off and depart off the live stream, we'll continue to be keeping an eye on things for folks and for clients within our Clarity application. So whether you run a business or you're just a weather enthusiast or just want some more and better weather information, Clarity is the app for you. So appreciate everyone hopping on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us. But John, any kind of last words on your end?
No, I think the story, Northern Illinois, Southern Wisconsin, Eastern Iowa, those are going to be the storms to watch. I did have a quick timer in Davenport. This cell continues to weaken. I personally don't think it has enough in it to produce another tornado. But some hail, at least dime size, needs to be watched as we get towards Davenport and the southeast edge. These timings, subtract 1 hour. That'll be in central. Last note I have to mention that I do want to bring up the flooding risks, or at the very least, the observed rainfall from the past 3 hours. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm going to turn off all of our alerts so we can see this more clearly. These are rainfall totals estimated of 2 to 3 inches near Watertown, and it is still storming across those portions of Wisconsin. So that is why there is a flash flood warning in effect for those zones in particular, with another inch or two likely. So make sure to keep that in mind for low-lying, flood-prone areas, creeks, streams that are greatest risk that have a tendency to overflow. That is definitely going to be a concern getting into the AM commute tomorrow morning as well.
John, and two, we haven't kind of talked about it a whole lot, but for some of you folks getting into Michigan tonight,
yes,
John, maybe show the future radar and Clarity real quick, just to give folks a general idea. Eventually, this activity is going to start to cross over the lake, right? Mm-hmm. And I haven't checked, John, the instability that's available. Let me check that real quick. But looking at the future radar, right? One, I expect there to be widespread coverage of storms tonight. And likely they are going to produce some strong wind gusts, I think, at the very least. John, there's a decent amount of instability still left, especially into western and southwestern Michigan in particular. And so as we do head into the overnight, and as we do head into the early morning hours of tomorrow, I wouldn't let your guard down completely as far as any type of tornadic risk that can be into western and southwestern Michigan. There can certainly be some embedded areas of rotation. And again, I think especially into western and southwestern portions of the state where the instability is a little bit higher. Outside of that, some heavy rain, some flooding risks are going to be possible, some wind gusts. Maybe we can get some pockets of embedded hail, but just the look of this screams wind gust. And we'll just need to watch for embedded areas of rotation as we head into the evening. So certainly, again, a bit of a loud overnight getting into tomorrow morning for some of you folks getting into Michigan. And especially southern and southwestern Michigan, that's just where the storms may be a little bit more persistent through the morning for a potential flooding risk. So just wanted to make a note for some of those folks getting into Michigan tonight.
Absolutely. And this is a nowcast that was just sent out as well to Michigan, which pretty much lines up with that thinking. And if this future radar ends up verifying, there is going to be a Boeing segment that is going to set up as it pushes southeast. So very damaging winds are certainly going to be a concern. And you can even see, as Matt mentioned, southwestern Michigan, even northern Indiana, those storms train over the same area for over 4 hours. And then we get into the morning, there's not really a dry gap that I can give you. So there's definitely flash flooding, northern Indiana, southern Michigan, that will need to be monitored. So.
Yep. 100%. Haley, you asked about northeastern Indiana. I don't know where at exactly northeastern Indiana, but especially getting into the early morning hours of tomorrow, some storms, maybe holding a low end risk for a stronger wind gusts at that point, but some rain and probably a few multiple rounds of storms throughout Wednesday morning, getting into tomorrow morning. So a bit of a wet start to the day, and some additional rounds of some storms even getting into the early afternoon as well. So it'll be a bit of a wet one in northeastern Indiana, depending on where you're at. I think especially north of Fort Wayne. So, all right, John, we're going to wrap it up. Again, if you are a Clarity client and you have the ability to message us in the application, we will be available all night. 24/7 we're available, so ask away. If not, be sure to have your phone turned on for those alerts and be on the lookout for nowcast, etc. from our team. So I appreciate everyone joining. Again, that Clarity code in the top right hand corner, scan that QR code, use Storm 20 to get the 20% off of our Clarity home package. So appreciate everyone joining. Have a great rest of your night, and stay safe out there.
Thanks, guys.